Folks, we're back. We're back. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Catch 'em All Collectibles in the house, and Steve with Tactical Trading. Guys, Steve's been on the channel multiple times. Dan, I mean, most of you guys know him. He's been on the channel multiple times. And so tonight should be good, man. Just to sit back, relax, and chat. Not some kind of crazy, like, formal interview type things we have on some of the other lives. And, we'll take some questions. We'll talk on all the hot topics and try to get an idea of the fate of the Pokemon hobby. So, Dan, what's up, man? How you feeling right now, dude?
I'm feeling good. We're Alex and I were talking a little bit before we went live. The lives are kind of like pumping back up. Summer's ending. I have some friends around the country, and I know it's still like 2.5 weeks. Right after Labor Day weekend, my kids go back to school in upstate New York. But I know some places around the country, kids are already back in school. The fall, I think college is starting to go back sometime mid-month, late this month. So I can't imagine what the market has in store for us between now and Christmas.
When do they get off school?
Usually the end of June. Actually, Cleveland Collecticon, I want to say, was like 28th, 29th of June. So we literally left for Cleveland Collecticon the day after school ended, just before the 4th of July, basically.
Wow.
So we're off from
different. Yeah. Because around here it's like middle to end of May.
Oh, okay.
A lot of schools are doing, like, it used to be 3 months off. Like when we were kids, I mean, I feel like that was pretty standard. You got like mid-May to mid-August, and a lot of places are now doing like month-and-a-half long summers, but then you've got a longer winter break, you've got a longer fall break.
And I feel like every state's almost different at this point.
Yep. But yeah, a lot of, I think we're one of the last ones to go back to school, and we're just after Labor Day. That happens soon. People talk about the summer slowdown. Didn't really see much of that. Maybe it was a little bit slower July. But yeah, August seems like it's turning back up, and I just don't know what we're going to have. What's going to be going on? Destined Rivals $500 by the end of the year? Who knows? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I know Steve said he didn't really see a slowdown. I don't think we saw a slowdown in the market, right? Like, as far as the market goes, market prices, all that, I think that just powered ahead. I definitely saw a slowdown in, like, sales. But then, yeah, like we talked about last night, we had one of the best sales nights since, I think, like May. And so, I mean, it was very clear to me that summer is, and last week was picking up too. So very clear to me, summer's coming to an end, and kind of the outside activities are slowing down. Kids are getting back in school, and life's kind of getting back to normal, where people tend to focus on their hobbies more. So, yeah, man, I just don't, if summer didn't stop this market, I don't know what does at this point. Like, Steve, man, what are you seeing on your side of things? So, guys, if you don't know, Steve obviously, isn't full-time in the hobby, but I mean, gosh, the amount of sales he's doing these days, it seems like he is. Sells a lot of Chinese stuff now. We're doing Japanese, a lot of graded cards. So, like, what are you seeing on your side of things, man?
I mean, it's kind of comical, but the Chinese stuff was, I mean, seemed like a no-brainer opportunity 3 months ago, and now it seems like it's really solidified itself as, like, it's here to stay as long as these exclusive arts remain exclusive. So I've just leaned into that. And, Dan and I talked a little bit in Charlotte about this, but, like, my biggest mistake really since day one has always just been not being bullish enough and just not putting more money where my mouth is. And I finally decided, like, you know what, Chinese, I'm willing to just take a shot. Like, why not? And it's working out pretty well. So yeah, I mean, it's mostly eBay sales. I don't run a sophisticated business. It's really like I have a 9-to-5, but I definitely enjoy this. And I could see a very clear path to, like, stopping, a corporate career and pursuing this full time if that was the goal. I just don't really know if that is the goal. I think there's some great examples of guys who do it well. Both of y'all, Brian, there's some guys that are very vocal, retro, and outward facing on how they've done it. And I can see that path very clearly now with Chinese and the scalability of it. But yeah, I mean, it's still just a part-time thing for me. And it's been amazing. Yeah, it's been crazy.
So to kind of go on this Chinese subject, Dan, I have a question, dude. And you got to pick one. It can't be a non-answer.
Uh-oh.
Do you take the black label Chinese Gengar Pikachu, or do you take, like, 9 cases of Destined Rivals at this price? Like, what?
Oh, man, I hate both of them. I feel like, are we talking 5-10 years? We're talking, like, long time frame?
I don't know, man. I just thought it's like the silliest question with these prices right now, dude.
I feel like long time frame. I'm going with the Destin Rivals cases, but
Oh, of course, right?
I'm selling either. You know my actual answer. I'm selling either of them. I'm buying Sword Shield cases. I'm buying 151 loose packs, something along those lines. Some people in chat too are mentioning, Alex, you might not be on your Blue Yeti. You might be on the wrong mic, one of your camera mics.
Yep.
I didn't think about it until someone said it, but it does sound a little off.
All right, better.
There we go.
Nice. Good catch.
Thank you, chat.
Yeah, man. It's dude, it is wild right now. Like, I mean, my position is like, I would say I would say bearish. We'll say bearish as Dan's. We gotta make him the bear. But like, I'm under the impression too. Like at some point in the future, in the next couple of years, we will see a cheaper price on Destin Rivals than it is right now, and a better entry. I still don't think it gets back to MSRP at this point, but dude, there are sales happening on eBay for $330 a box of a couple month old set. What are we doing?
Wow. Yeah, I dumped all of mine on release for $250, and I was like, yeah, it feels pretty good.
And you've been putting it into like some amount of Chinese. Like you've probably put it. That's one thing that happened in my live stream the other night. Is like I pushed back on. Somebody said that people were delusional that didn't buy Destined at 250. And it's like, there's a lot of other things they like, if they were buying Fusion, if they were buying Chinese stuff, like there's so many things they could have bought that outperformed the 20% gains or whatever since. And I've said this though, as crazy it is to say, there's a chance that Destin Rivals booster boxes go back to 150. Well, not go back to, but go to 150. Like under MSRP wouldn't be the craziest thing that's ever happened. It's not delusional to say that because that actually could happen. I think another thing though that could happen, it might never go under 300 again. So simultaneously, like I know, like this might be the lowest price. I'm fine being wrong because as an investor, the implication is like I might miss out on Destined because I only have 4 cases set back of my initial allocation. But if my Destined is $500 a box in a year, what's my 151 loose packs I'm buying for $9 a pack? What's my Sword Shield cases that I'm buying right now? What's my SV cases, SV 1 through 5 that I'm buying right now? It's like, if that's my downfall, that I don't have enough Destined, I think I'm doing pretty damn well. If like in any world that Destined is 500 a box, 1,000 a box in a couple of years, I'm doing all right. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great point. I mean, if one of the newer modern sets is that high, then where's everything else at, right? I mean, it's all going to be at elevated prices too. And Dan, you've touched on a lot of, Alex, I know you share the same sentiment, but do you regret selling your team up boxes and your Evolving Skies boxes? It's like, well, like, yeah, in a vacuum, sure. But at the same time, like if I didn't sell, I had 9 cases of Primal Clash, and I was selling the boxes for $300 a piece, thinking that I was making out like a bandit. But like in reality, that of course hurts looking back now because it's like that's a Z06 right there in cardboard. But if I didn't sell it back then, it wouldn't have gotten me here, right? So it's.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. First of all, Ponga, what's up, dude? I see Ponga in here. He gave a super chat, dude. Appreciate you, Ponga. Hold on, let me pull it up on screen. Ponga, if you guys don't know, Ponga streams under Dan's Catch 'em All Collectibles on Fanatics. I think he's gonna do some eBay live too. So make sure to go see Ponga and get it on his streams. But yeah, Ponga's a good dude. Here's the thing, guys. Like, you know, the bubble talk is always thrown around. Even Rudy made a video, Alpha Investments, about, you know, like the McDonald's promos and bubble-ish feelings and stuff. What do you guys think about the whole bubble talk in the hobby? Like, I'll give you my personal opinion. Dude, the XY Sun and Moon stuff just feels incredible. I mean, we're seeing like 500-600% growth in a matter of months. Like, we're seeing Phantom Forces booster boxes, Eclipse base set 2, and some of the unlimited Gen 1 boxes getting nipping on the heels of first edition Gen 1 boxes. We're seeing cards go in the $10,000 and $15,000 range in modern in XY Sun and Moon. And I get the pop reports are low. I get all that. It seems bubblish to me. You know, the Gold Star thing, the same thing we saw back in the day, you know, 4 years ago. It feels a little bubblish, seeing things go from like 20 grand or 10 grand to 80 grand. Yeah, but not everything feels bubblish. Like, speaking of regrets, I don't have any regrets of anything I sold back in 2021. Honestly, a lot of the stuff I sold back then is just now getting back to the prices I sold for 4 years ago. Like my base set box, all my first edition Gen 1 boxes, like some of the slabs I sold. They're not basically I would have been sitting on dead money for 4 years just to get it back. And so I have no regrets of things I sold back then. I'm really having regrets of selling some of the stuff I sold to pay my house off, though. Like, I don't know, a few months back, I sold a bunch of like XY Sun and Moon stuff I was holding, even some Sword and Shield cases. And, you know, it didn't have to happen. I didn't need to be in a rush to pay off my house. But yeah, hindsight's 2020. It's so I have some regrets, but not total. I don't know. What do you guys think like about the bubble-ish talk right now? Is it all in a bubble? Is it just aspects? How confident are you feeling?
What do you think, Steve?
Man, I'm really, I think if you think that, I guess it's like more of a monetary policy question to me. It's like, we're going to continue to print money and the show's going to go on until it's not. And so I think we're in an everything bubble, but it could literally go on for another 50 years. I mean, crypto's at all-time highs, S&P's at all-time highs, Pokemon's ridiculous. It costs $100,000 to buy a truck. Housing has doubled in the last 3 years. But like if the powers that be continue to print the money supply and deflate the value of the dollar, then like that's really where I think we're at. So there's stuff I wouldn't even consider touching in Pokemon for sure, like an $18,000 card that just came out 3 weeks ago in a black label. Like no chance. Like that to me could lose 80% of its value over the next 6 months pretty easily. But I could also see a world where it doubles in 18 months. So seriously, I mean, that's just where we're at, man. It is hard to not sit the fence because I think when you really start thinking about the macro and like where we're really at as a society, I mean, there's a lot of money out there. There's a shitload of money out. There's $37 trillion of debt. And in 2008, we weren't even at $1 trillion. That's a lot of money.
I like how Steve's touching on the macro there. I think a lot of people are getting quite overconfident in the Pokemon space and aren't really putting in much consideration as to what the downside could be if and when Bitcoin has a history of dropping 80% from its new all-time highs, like multiple times over its history. If Bitcoin goes back to $20,000, $30,000, if the Dow drops 30, 40%, if we have these recessions, like what percent chance do I think that'll happen? I think it's 100% certainty that Bitcoin will drop 50% again someday. But the question is, will it double first? Will it triple first and then drop 50%? Because then you're still up on that. Will the Dow double first, triple first over the next 10 years and then drop 50%? Like those are the things that we'll never know. At the end of the day, I just, as an investor, you should look at your upside. What's the upside potential? What does that mean for you, your financial situation? What's the downside? And to tie this back into the last thing too, like Destined Rivals today at its current price, the way that I look at it, like the biggest single item that I've invested in the past 2 months on net is 151 packs that I've been buying between 9 and 950. I think 151 loose packs that I sell through the streams, I think it wins both ways, upside and downside, to the Destined Rivals cases. Because it's like, in my mind, what are the odds that it triples? And Destined Rivals will be $1,000 box someday, but I think it's a ways out. Over the 2-year, 3-year time frame, I think the odds of Destined Rivals being $1,000 really, really low, single-digit percentage, but it could happen. I think 151, you could wake up one morning and it's like it's $20 a pack and it's going towards $25 a pack. I think that could happen really quickly. Same thing for the downside too. I think there are double-digit percent chances that Destined Rivals cases go in half because they print them substantially over the next 2 years, the typical window. What are the odds that I think 151 goes back to $5 a pack? It could happen. Decimal percentages, like very, very low, 1 in 1,000 shot that it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So, and then I know I'm all over the place, but going back to like the whole bubble thing, I think certain aspects, maybe a bit of an everything bubble, macro, like Steve said, micro in the Pokemon space. I'm not touching gold stars after they 10x. I'm not touching XY Sun Moon stuff after they 10x. If they double again, it's like I'll watch the YouTube videos. I guess I'll eat my humble pie. I say I was wrong for not having bought those, but I'm also not going to get burned if they drop 50%, because I think some of those megas from XY, some of those team ups, some of those cards that have 10x'd, maybe they've got another 2x in them. Some of those are going to fall 30, 40%. I'm quite confident. I just don't know when. It's not if, but it's when, in my opinion.
Yeah, because we didn't see the run-ups like we saw in 2021 were mostly centered around vintage, right? Like we definitely had run-ups in modern and really in some modern booster boxes like Evolutions, which did drop about 30% or so off its highs. But the run-ups this time are now like focused on XY Sun and Moon along with Gold Stars and some other things. And so if last time we had slabs and singles fall off 30, 40, 50%, it's likely it could happen again. You just don't, again, the issue is no one knows when, right? It's this whole idea of like, the risk of waiting is almost as much as the risk of the downside. It's because everyone who's been screaming not to buy Pokemon because it's over MSRP or it's over, overpriced for the last 8 months now. Well, it's likely you're never going to see any of the prices that you would have got 8 months ago. And so the risk of waiting actually outweighed the risk of losing money. And now it gets to the point now, like Dan said, like XY Sun and Moon, I feel like the risk of losing money is far outweighs the potential you might make gains on those. And things like he said, like, here's the thing. There's been very few times in this hobby where everyone kind of agrees. I remember when the Sword and Shield boxes were selling out at Pokemon Center, like what was it? Chilling Reign, the Fusion Strikes, Brilliant Stars. When they started selling out at Pokemon Center one by one, you couldn't find anyone to disagree with you. Every single investment market channel all said the same thing. Buy the Pokemon Center. This is going to be the next one to sell out. It's going to jump. And sure enough, it would go from 140 to 200 almost immediately after it sold out. And it would just happen again and again. The other time everyone agreed was when Crown Zenith was going out of print. Everyone was like, buy it up right now. You're going to have to buy it up. You're not going to have a chance in the future. And it went from $5 to like $10, $11 a pack, like almost instantly. 151, you can't find anyone to disagree with you. Every investment market channel out there, no matter how many people disagree with each other, everyone is preaching buy 151. I just think it's a no-brainer. We've never had anything in the hobby where everyone agrees on that doesn't happen. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I mean, is there any level of print capacity if we saw Evolution's level, but adjusted for the demand today, and you just saw it in stores? I mean, we still have maybe 6 months for that to happen.
Well, think about this. Evolutions, I would argue, is one of the most overprinted modern sets that we've seen. And even that is now like an $1,900 box. Like it doubled again from the highs it saw in 2021. It's like, so the worst one doubled in 4 years, 25% a year. Like what? It's crazy.
Yep. And that's one thing that I talked about in a pretty recent video is like I'm often painted as the bear. I will always caveat disclaimer of what the downside could be. Downside for Destin is like, it could go to 100 a box. It could go to 120 a box. I don't think it'll go that low. I think the packs will be available under MSRP at some point. But anyways, the upside potential is like right now we're printing 10 to 13 billion cards a year the last couple of years. The hobby could grow as a whole, like the rising tide. The tides could rise to the fact to where like in 2030, we might be printing 50 billion cards a year. And we might look back to 2025 on the Scarlet Violet era the same way that we look back on the Sun and Moon today. Like for me being a bear, I'm going to say Destined Rivals could be $2,000 a box within 5 years. It could be Evolving Skies 2.0.
The bear's take.
But where people lose me is like when it's guaranteed to do that. It's definitely going to do that. It can't go down under MSRP. Like I agree with you on the upside potential, but like let's stay grounded a little bit and be like, there's also the other side of the equation too. An investor always needs to be aware of the downside risks. And if you're doing this on margin, if you're doing this with leverage, the potential wipeout risk. And that's something like Alex, I paid off my house with Pokemon. I am fairly like more than half of my net worth is in Pokemon, but other than like, I'm fairly cautious overall. I'm fairly like safe with what I do.
All right. So dude, so Dan, when I first started my YouTube channel, I think I had maybe 1,000 subscribers, if that, at the time when I first reached out and talked with you, and you were the first person that came on my channel to talk with me. But you remember back in those times, right? There was tons of debates, right? We all had our whole group about like the investability of modern Pokemon. What do you think the kind of like outcome is now that not even the bearish people or people against it disagree? Like everyone kind of agrees now that even if you mention Pokemon, it's like, oh well, yeah, modern sealed boxes go up in value. Like people don't get 3-4 years ago, that was not the case. There was very much like belief that like, well, no, I don't think modern's gonna do anything. What do you think like the ramifications of the fact that like of that much confidence now? Like, do you think it's a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
To be honest, it's a little scary to me because I'm investing at an unprecedented level. but I'm also ripping at an unprecedented level too. I don't do it directly myself. I have PK Ponga. I have more streamers coming on. So it's like, I always characterize it as the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. But just like I said, in 2030, we might be printing 50 billion cards a year. We might look back and say SV was so low printed, but like, because Sun and Moon era was about 3 billion cards a year. So we've about 4x in print run between now and SV era, Sun and Moon era and SV era. We might 4x again, but we also might return to Sun and Moon like print runs. I hope it doesn't happen. I love Pokemon. I hope it continues to thrive and excel. But there's a reality where we're printing 3 billion cards a year. There's a reality where and again, it's kind of like the bubble talk. It's like we might be in a Pokemon bubble where at some point in the next decade or two, it would not surprise me if the print run halves year over year. If the print run goes from 12 billion to 6 billion, you don't want to be stocked super deep on the 12 billion print run stuff. With the live streaming, with the ripping, like it's tough because it's like we know more people are investing, but we also know more people are ripping. So what's the equilibrium of that gonna amount to? We have no clue. But maybe what's gonna happen is maybe we're gonna 4x in print run to 50 billion before we have. So like it's the same conversation we had earlier about like being in a bubble. When's the top coming in? I think in the next decade, Pokemon will have a 30% drop in print run year over year. But will it be after it triples or quadruples? Like it's nobody knows.
And then okay, so I want to like bring that over. So here's one thing I'm thinking about too. So Steve, I've always invested in sealed product. Have you been investing really at all in sealed product recently, or have you been basically just taking the margins on it and flipping it?
Yeah, no, I have. I'm kind of similar as Dan. I mean, I'm buying more than I've bought in a long time, but I'm not buying DR. I'm not buying Journey Together. I'm going back, a little bit, still in this block, still in the Scarlet Violet era, but I am buying sealed product that's coming up on maybe a year old. Like I just bought 4 more cases of Surging Sparks, and it's like, could it go down? I mean, it's at 200. It was at 225 when I bought it. Could it go down some? Sure, but like I feel pretty comfortable with that at that price point. Even with the reprints coming on the ETBs, it's like there's room there for me. It makes sense. But I'm not super aggressive. Like I dumped my black and white as soon as I got my allocation. I dumped DR as soon as I got it. Like there is stuff that's like, I'll just take the 300% gains today and then continue to play the game, and I'll revisit it. And if Rocket goes to $400 a booster box a year from now, but I've 4x my money in that time, like I'm happy to go back and buy something. So that's kind of my philosophy.
Well, hold on. I'll give you. And then Dan, you said you really haven't been investing in any of the newer stuff either, right?
No, like Steve just mentioned, he bought some Surging recently. Surging is like a little bit too hot for my taste. I'm torn on it. The older that it is, the closer it is to that 2 years. Surging though is like 9 months old. Surging is like 9-10 months old. So I'd rather like I actually just had somebody reach out today. I locked down like a $25,000 Sword Shield case. It's like Sword Shield through SV5. I think the latest one is SV5. I'd rather buy for the same money, even though it's a worse set. I'd rather buy Obsidian Flames. I'd rather buy like I bought some Paldea Evolved. I think I bought 2 cases of Paldea Evolved. I might be wrong though. Like I never have optimally done any of this. I'm doing it to the best of my ability. I'm trying to get the highest ROI, but yeah,
that's kind of my point I want to make though is okay. So hear me out. Pretty much everyone I talk to that invests in Pokemon heavily pretty much is not investing right now in the brand new stuff. So no one's got all those cases they normally have put away like they do in previous years, right? We have enormous amounts getting ripped on your streams and my streams, everybody's streams, and the price points are higher than they've ever been. And so like, even if they print more, everyone like us is going to be like fiending to get our investment put away. So like, if it does drop 20, 30, 40%, we're all going to rush in to get our investments put away before it goes back up, which is almost going to simultaneously keep the market buoyed up and rise again. And so like, I'm just wondering the effects of everyone that wants to invest but just hasn't because it hasn't reached the age they want or the price points they want. Eventually when they come in and say, well, I want to have some, I don't want to miss out on the next Evolving Skies, the next Fusion Strike, I need to put some away. It's like, that makes it feel hard for me to kind of envision this market really dropping too much when all the investors need to get their hands on it.
Yeah, like I only have 4 cases of Surging set back. I might never add another one. And I'm literally fighting the same battle I fought 11 years ago. I got into the hobby and I got distro at Phantom Forces. I was in for XY4 and on. And I always was investing to some level. Back in the day, it used to be a couple boxes of every set. I'd set back 2 Phantom Forces, 2, and then very quickly it went to like a case, 2 cases, and it's progressed. My goal these days is to have like 20 cases of every set. I don't have 20 cases of anything. I think the most I have of the early SV stuff, because I thought I'd have more time. Historically speaking, I've been around for 11 years. Historically speaking, you had a full 2 years, and it's like, why buy on day one for 80 bucks a box? I'm gonna wait. I've always been waiting. I've always been waiting. I've consciously like forced myself to not wait as much. But like I have most SV cases, I have like 8 to 14. But once you hit surging, I have 4 of surging. I kept 6 of journey because of the whole enhanced thing that Alex has talked about a bunch. Reprints might not have that, but destined and surging, I only have 4. And again, if we're printing 20, 30 billion cards a year in a couple of years from now, I will not add any more than 4. But again, I don't think I'll be mad. I don't think I'll be mad at myself because it's like, oh yeah, Destined, I was saying that it could go under MSRP. It never did. I lost my bet to retro. But it's like the 151 I was buying at the same time. The Crown I was buying at the same time. The Sword Shield case I was buying at the same time. Maybe they won't do the same numbers, but they'll do, like, I promise. If I'm wrong on Destined, I'm doing just fine. And like I have a lot more capital than I had 11 years ago. And I don't have enough to buy everything. I feel like some people get so honed in on like, I have to have everything. I have to have all I want, everything all the time. And you're just not going to have enough capital to deploy every single spot. And it's fine to miss some things. You're going to always miss some things. You're going to miss 100x between now and the next 5-10 years. And I will too.
Yeah. I mean, back to the print runs, I'm so curious how much of that increase has actually even been English. You know, what if it's really all going to Chinese? I mean, there's a lot of people. What's that?
Yeah. Or booster boxes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be so curious to know what that breakdown is between the languages, because I mean, China's got to be printing. They've got to have 1 billion of that at least, I would think. I mean, it's such a big country. I'm curious.
What's the whole thing we hear about, like the Gengar car is supposed to be limited? They're limiting the run. What's all that going on with the Chinese stuff?
From what I've heard from the people that I buy from, they do 1 print run and that's it, at least with the gem stuff. I don't really know how main sets go, but the gems boxes are supposed to be kind of special, one-off, like, hey, here it is, and then that's it. And so far, like I would say that seems to be true, because for the last maybe 6 months I've been involved in Chinese now. The price has only gone up. There's really not been, outside of like maybe an initial pump and then it comes down, but then it's just very linear. It's like every week I check in, cases are $50 more. So it seems to me either throttling it very well, or they did indeed just have like an initial dump of product, and that seems to be it.
Well, Pokemon only goes up. Hold on, Jancel, what's up, man? I'm new to investing. How easy is it to sell booster box cases once they hit over 1K? I am ready to buy a bunch of Sword and Shield boxes, but worry about having a small buyer pool in the future and how long my boxes could take to sell. I'm obviously going to say, sell to me, and I'll give you a percentage, but you could also send them to consignment services. Consignment services will auction them for you. Here's one thing I will say, Jancel, is by the way, thanks so much for the super chat. That's really kind, man. When the market's like this, anything will sell. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what era, what price point. It could be $100, could be $10,000. You throw it at auction right now, it's likely going to get somewhere near full market price. In a bear market or flat market, you got to be a little more careful, more selective. You're probably going to sit on buy it nows longer, wait for the right customer to come. And auctions during those times, especially if it's like not more of a niche item or not, maybe too high of a price point, not something people are looking for, auctions can get crushed. They could go for 70%. So if you're looking to sell in this market, I would say no problem. Sell it yourself, send a consignment service. You'll easily get it over 1,000, no problem. And I would say even in the future, I think kind of the price floors have risen. I don't think $1,000 case is going to be like anything crazy, anything that people are going to really like scoff at. If you get up in the $5,000, $10,000 range, you may have to start breaking down cases and selling by the single box if you really don't want to like sit on it or send to a consignment or wait for a bear or a bull market. But that's kind of my take on it. What's your guys' take on this?
Dan, go ahead, man. I mean, my answer is super easy. I just think very easy. Very easy to sell without the box.
My answer is the same as Alex's too. Like I just bought some sword. I buy Sword Shield cases, early Scarlet Violet cases at 80 to 90%, depending on what they are, depending on my cash flow, depending on how many I have. So they're easy to sell while they're easy to sell. How long that lasts, we have no idea. But it's capitalism. It's an open market. And if I need something for the stream, or if I want something for my long-term holdings, I'll offer high enough until I get it, right? Ooh, excuse me. I'm paying 90% plus just to get some 151 packs. To get, occasionally I need to pay 85, 90% on Prismatic, which is like triple MSRP, over double MSRP, just to get it to feed the streams. So it's like, I'll pay what it takes to get it. And in a market like this, where things are generally going up, you got to pay a higher percentage. But if things turn, it can, like, I'm not paying 85%, 90% forever. That's right. That's a sign of the times. And there are times in my past 11 years where I've been able to buy 5-figure collections for like 60, 65%. And they included some higher end singles and some decent sealed. And because that was competitive at the time. And it might go back to a time where, and right now, some of the things you see in like Reddit groups and Facebook groups and Discords, people are like so spoiled. It's like, you're only offering me 90% of market. It's like, if you're comping off eBay and you're saying 90% of market, like, if you're a private seller on eBay, you're only netting 88%. Like 100% of market is 88% of market after your fees. And then you get a 1099 and you sell to Alex or me, you send first, you get friends and family, you get Zelle, you get ACH, like any of those things. It's a little scary, like how spoiled some sellers are right now. And I think they're open for a rude awakening at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about like loose packs. I mean, I think that's the stuff that would scare me. Like, as an investor, if you're buying collection boxes, breaking them down and sitting on sealed packs, like, to me, that's higher risk than sitting on something that's sealed. Because I think we will actually go back to a time where sealed packs are not desired. I mean, it wasn't long ago when that was the case. Like, less than a year ago, it was, you could not sell sealed packs nearly as easily as you can now. And with the environment that you guys have helped create, thank you, we can now offload our packs. But I don't know if that lasts forever. So I think product matters. I think product choice matters, even within a set.
Man, I just, I don't know. And Brian Pokiani, he made videos about, which is very ironic, about ripping ships eventually like dying, which is very ironic because he's the one that pushed me to do ripping ships. Because there's a certain amount of irony there. But I don't know, dude. Like, when you go to like Twitch, if anyone like hangs out on Twitch ever and goes to like some of these Twitch streams, like gaming channels, just chatting channels, there's this community aspect where everyone in like the chat like knows each other. You get like kind of like engrossed in everyone's lives. And when people are like doing things and taking vacations and bought new things and what they're doing with their families and their kids, like it's almost like everyone kind of becomes like a community, a family in there. And you see this in all the different communities and groups online. And I feel like that's almost what Rip and Ships have become. It's just like, it's a place to all come out and hang with your buddies and like rip packs together and be excited for people's, wins. And like, people like donate hits to other people that lose. And like, everyone's kind of there for each other. And I think because of the community aspects, it's there to say. And the reason I'm saying all this is, I think because of that, there's always going to be a larger amount of loose packs that are needed than there used to be. And I think because booster boxes are seen as investable and the confidence is there, they're probably not going to be able to be broken down for cheaper than the loose packs are. And so I think there's just always going to be a certain level of demand. Now, there's always going to be like a margin to where, well, once loose packs get too expensive, obviously people will just buy the box, or boxes will have to rise. But like, man, some of these sets, like, they're literally like half. And so like, I don't know, man, like when I see something like half, like 151 packs, an ETB, a PCTB, a UPC, the packs are like half or less the price. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, Steve, like, how do you feel about that? Like, if you could buy 151 pack for $10, but the ETBs are 300, like, you still think it'd be better for the sealed?
No, definitely not at that price point. I think like right now we're at just like such an egregious discrepancy. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, the packs make sense, but again, like going back, take out like non-bubble data, I would say like now would be one of those times where you could probably, in 3 years, you could probably look back and maybe use this as bubble data. But if you look at like non-bubble data for the last 10 years, loose packs, harder to offload later down the road. We are in a new time. Like you do have to adjust. I think there's always going to be streams. I don't think streamers are going away. I think it's here to stay. So you'll always have the opportunity to sell to guys like Alex, like Dan, and offload your packs. But just know that at some point you're probably going to get less than what you're getting today, percentage-wise, for a buyout.
True.
But
I wanted to ask you about that, man. You basically have like a permanent buy list up of packs. I obviously do it different. I just like put buy list out when I'm looking for packs. Are you basically always buying those? Yeah. Or is it like kind of your discrepancy if people reach out with like, thousands of packs, like you just tell them I can't take them or, whatever it may be, or is people like, is it always available to just log on and say, hey, I got 500 packs. I'm sending them your way.
Yeah. So for anyone unaware, like catchemallcollectibles.com, I have a buy list that pulls in TCG player prices, like from XY to current, every set, I'm always paying 70%. I'm always paying at least 70%. What I do every week, every Monday, I do my hot buy list. And that's where I'm paying like a more competitive price. I'm not always paying 80, 85, 90%. But sometimes either because I want to invest in more of them or the streams were selling a lot of them and I just don't have enough. So I need to get more. But yeah, I'll pay 80, 85%, 90% on my hot buy list from time to time to really step them up. There's probably only been I think I've been doing that since February, maybe late January. I've been doing that every week. There's probably only been 4 or 5 times where I've been like, I can't take everything you're offering. One week I put up $9 151, which I currently have right now. It's a little bit less competitive than the first week that I did it. I put up $9 151 when it was like $10 a pack. So I was paying a full 90%. A botter reached out to me with 15,000 packs. And I'm like, I'll take 3,000 packs. So there are always quantity limits. I will say if it's on my hot buy list, my quantity limit is at least 3,000. But if you message me, if it goes live on Monday and you message me on Wednesday, I might have already closed it up. I think I've only closed up the buy list for a certain set, like again, that 4 or 5 times. But yeah, I'm buying Vivid Voltage loose packs. I'm buying Battle Styles loose packs at like 70%. Like I don't really want them that much. We're not really ripping them that frequently, but I'll take almost anything at 70%. Pokemon Go is another exception too. I know that set has some lore in your channel history, but I had somebody reach out to me. Actually, yeah, it was Old School Pokemon. Actually, Old School Pokemon had a hookup where my buy list was like 70%. If someone hit me with more than like 200 packs of Pokemon Go, I'd probably decline like that much quantity. Somebody had like 4,000, 5,000 packs. I think Nick bought half, I bought half, and I bought those at closer to 60% because that person just wanted them gone that bad and the liquidity was not there on that set. So one thing I wanted to add too, like to talk about what Steve was saying, I like to buy cases when cases have no sealed case premium. I like to buy them. Like that's one thing I track in my spreadsheets is like Evolving Skies right now. The boxes, this is boxes, not cases, but like either box premiums to the loose packs or case premiums to the loose packs. Right now, Evolving Skies is 211%. Like 36 loose packs times 2.11 is what a box goes for. I really like buying loose packs when it's a big multiple from loose packs to a box, 36 loose packs to a box. And conversely, the same other the other way. One thing that blows my mind, Battle Styles, the boxes are less than 36 loose packs. And Vivid Voltage, the boxes are slightly less than 36 loose packs. I'm not substantially piling up a ton of Battle Styles or Vivid Voltage, but I generally like the boxes when they're less than 36 loose packs. It kind of blows my mind how a set that old, not that it's crazy old, but like a set that old could still be a discount by the box.
What do you think about the fact that Battle Styles may be the cheapest booster box in all of Pokemon right now?
Yeah,
there's always got to be one, right?
For my spreadsheet.
It is the cheapest box in all of Pokemon, and it's 5 years old.
I mean, it's doing the Steam Siege Crimson Invasion, right? I mean, I had many cases.
But this has never happened before, where all the brand new boxes were all more like, even when Steam Siege Crimson Invasion were out, the brand new boxes were always like $90, $100, $110. This is unprecedented, where most every Sword or Scarlet Violet box is more than Battle Styles, Vivid Voltage, or Darkness of It's crazy. It's crazy.
And this might age really poorly, but clip it and ship it. I would rather put $10,000 in the Battle Styles cases right now than Destined Rivals cases. I think you'll be able to buy Destined Rivals cases for cheaper in the future. I don't think Battle Styles is going to go down from where it's at. But mind you, that's what I say. I'm not doing either. I might have bought a couple Battle Styles cases recently, but that might age poorly too. Destined Rivals might go up 50% in a year, and Battle Styles might be entirely flat. But one thing people, and Alex, I think you've done a good job, is like you were negative on the Charizard UPC when it first came out. It was going crazy. It was stupid. Like I'm pretty negative right now on Destined Rivals, but some people's brains, and this is maybe a little bit mean.
Your video convinced me to buy them eventually when you broke it down.
Yeah, but some people's brains are only set to like Dan is always on the fence. I'm always gray area, nuance, all this stuff. Some people's brains can only handle like binary 0-1, good, bad. So people's brains say like Destined Rivals good or Destined Rivals bad. Well, I'm saying it's bad right now. I don't like it right now at its price. But like I can change, and it's not flip-flopping. If it goes to 180 a box, if it goes to 150 a box in a year, and I start saying, hey, I like Destined Rivals, that's not me flip-flopping. That's me looking at an item that I feel is overpriced today. And then the same thing Alex did with Charizard UPCs. I'm not pre-ordering them at 200, 250, whatever they were. Then they went down to 90 bucks or 100, whatever it was. And
they were in the 80s, man.
Yeah, I bought tons of them. I bought hundreds of them when they were at that low price. Like you could buy them from Sam's Club, you could buy them from wherever. 151 UPCs were similar. I don't love 151 UPCs right now. I much prefer loose packs. But like, so the chat is going way quicker than I could keep up with. But I saw somebody asking earlier, like ETBs, UPCs, booster bundles. Where should I put my money? I have a spreadsheet that looks at each one, and it looks at it at like a per pack. I just like the cheapest packs. I like wherever you can get the cheapest packs, pay the least pack premium. And right now, I think it's booster bundles with how many they've dropped recently.
The green shiz dropping the $4.20 to $4.20 on us. Dan smoking the crack, putting 10K into BS over DR.
And to be fair, I'm doing neither. I'm putting 10K into 1,100 loose packs of 151 is what I'm actually
exactly what you were
my
talking about too. The nuance, right? Like here's the thing. That scenario changes too. If someone said, Alex, 10K into Battle Styles or Destined Rivals for the next year, I'm taking Battle Styles. If they said for the next 5 years, I'll probably still go with Destined Rivals. Because I think by the time it goes out of print, it's gonna run like, I don't know. It's like everything changes based on price points and time frames, and it's
that's
so
an
true,
important thing to point out. Because if you make my holding period on Battle Styles or Destined Rivals at today's price is 10K, I would go into the Destined Rivals camp somewhere between 2 and 6 years. I would start to think like today. It's an easy thought. I would go Battle Styles.
Yeah.
If you say it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, somewhere in there, it's like, I'm 50-50. Right. If you say 10, 20 years, now I'm 100% in Destined camp. So like, I feel like people's brains are just too binary. It's good, bad. It's like, you can't have that level of nuance. It's like Dan said Battle Styles is better than Destined Rivals. He said Destined Rivals is a terrible set because Battle Styles is better. Like that's what people hear when you say something like that. They don't take in any of the nuance.
Yeah, DR is I'm not a buyer at DR at $350 a box today, but I am a buyer of DR at $500 a box 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Steve, with all the Chinese hype, right? Like I don't even know how much you're moving at this point, if you want to say or not, but are you putting any of that away for the future?
I'm honestly not, because I can't keep it in stock, but I really think that like, there's probably a pretty good speculative play here. I will be doing that, but right now I just can't even keep it in stock. My goal is to just have enough inventory to keep you guys fed and have lead times at like 3-4 days. Whereas right now it's like, if you texted me, I need to place an order, I'll get it as soon as I can. And I'm starting to just now really get out of that to where I do have enough to keep you guys. If you just needed at least something to get by for the week, I could get you something. But my goal right now is to just get to where I can keep you guys some other card shops I work with, and hopefully a few more connections I can make along the way. I'd love to just work with a few people that I trust, that I know. Again, not trying to pursue this thing full time, just something that I can manage while I'm doing everything else. But yeah, I think there's a speculative play here for sure to sit on. I really do. And I did not think that 3 months ago, but like the nuance, right? Like now it's
proving itself more.
I'm open to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do my best. The Catch 'em All Collectibles live stream operation, we will do our best to keep you out of stock on things as much as possible, Steve. We will do our best to vacuum all that stock in. And I'm actually going to add, not a crazy amount. It's going to be a very low percentage-wise. I'm going to add a little bit of that Chinese product to the pallets for the long term. I think it'll be a fun thing. It'll either be like the best performer or the worst performer. I think it'll be like not much risk of being like a middling performer on my pallets in the future.
Yeah, I mean, at $60 a booster box on average right now for the gym sets, it's like, can it go down? Sure, but could it double? Yeah, I mean, right now there's literally an arbitrage play where you could literally just buy cases from me at my prices, not even getting wholesale prices, and you could literally just mass box open, speed grade to PSA, and double your money. Like that's where we're at. So yes, I think there's room here.
Is Chinese the new Japanese? Is Japanese done?
Dude, I'm going to say this: if Chinese keeps pumping out great exclusive arts, it's going to change the game. It's going to, and a year from now, everybody's going to have a totally different opinion on Chinese than a lot of people still do, because it's still a pretty untouched market, if we're being honest.
I mean, I'm going to say one thing. I had one of the hottest takes in the hobby at the time. I didn't realize it until I started putting videos out, but I got blasted for it. Where it was the craziest thing in the world to say, I think English 5-1 over Japanese 1-5-1. And everyone came at me with the master balls, and they had a booster box and Japanese specialty sets. And we have seen English every product, basically. ETBs, Pokemon Center ETBs, UPCs, just absolutely crush the Japanese 1-5-1 booster boxes. Like, what does that mean, man? Because even Terrestrial Festival is like not doing the greatest. Like Prismatic's still doing well, especially in other products. Like the ETBs are low because they keep just crushing them. But the PC ETBs are back to 300. The UPCs are holding up extremely well. Do you think Chinese is slowing the growth of Japanese? Because
I think here's the big core difference again is exclusive arts. If Chinese is just another language with the same set, same cards, it would be a fifth of the price of English, and it would be half the price of Japanese. Like that's just what it would be. It would be like Korean. It would be very illiquid, and it would just be its own thing that very few people in the United States would want to buy. But it's not that. It has exclusive arts. And if those arts remain exclusive, yes, I think it totally changes the game. And I think it becomes its own thing. Like now you have Chinese, Japanese, and English. So yeah, I think, and hey, Ponga, don't make me tell everybody your middle name.
I mean, Dan, how do you feel about Japanese, man?
Yeah, right now, like I'm not doing anything speculative in Japanese, but there's a price point where if Terrestrial gets to some number, and I don't have like a fixed number in my head, it'll be a feel thing. Every week, every couple times a week, I'm looking at Retro's price list. I'm Retrospecs on Instagram. So I don't know what the number will be, but last year, I believe it was, I added a couple hundred boxes or 150 boxes, I think, of Japanese 151 to my pallets because 151 at like 50 felt too low relative to the other things at the time. It just felt good. Very gut feeling. There's no like firm metrics that I have to stand on. And it panned out. Right now, I think the restock price to Retro is 170 or something. So like it more than tripled. Will it be kind of flat now for the next X amount? Probably, fairly likely. But Shiny Treasure, I did the same on. Shiny Treasure got down to 30 a box. And mind you, I missed the bottom on 151. I think it got down to like 40. I think I picked some up at 60 and then 50 and then 45 on the back on the way up. But yeah, if Terrestrial and things get there, I'll probably buy a bunch. But as of right now, they're not like low enough for me to really, I'd rather go for Chinese. I'd rather go for like, because if it's all investing, I want to put my dollars where I think they'll have the most return on investment. And that's with like a risk adjusted thing too, going back to the whole 151 versus Destined Rivals.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for like me and you. Like we don't hear from Steve too, but it's like for me and you, it's hard because like we have like social media presences and we have people reaching out to sell their collections. So it's like a lot of my investing, unfortunately, these days is based on just what I am given. Like if people reach out and they're willing to sell me their collections at X amount and I can put some more things away that at 80, 85%, it just makes sense, right? It's like, well, I didn't plan to invest in more Brilliant Stars cases, but I got them for X price. I'm going to put them away, right? Where it's like, I wouldn't actively be going out and paying full market price for Brilliant Stars, if that makes sense. So it's like, what products right now for everyone out there that's, just regular, like they're not like running businesses, they don't have, followings. What products would you be targeting at market price if you were to like be still buying right now? Like, and Steve, you can answer this too. Either one of you guys, like, do you have anything in mind that you still be buying if you weren't buying out collections or getting things under market?
What do you think, Steve?
It's kind of a hard question.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if liquidity wasn't a concern, if there weren't other opportunities, like so much nuance to the question, but I really like everything that Pokemon's done recently. I would probably, if I could have it my way, I would just indiscriminately buy everything in this block in booster boxes. Like I'd probably just
put all your money into Arrow, dude. Like,
yeah, that's a separate conversation. But yeah,
by the way, anyone that's seen our previous lives, if you guys go check out the crypto Arrow, AERO, Steve did try to tell everybody about it.
It's on
everyone. He tried to convince everyone to get in with
Arrow
him.
Billionaire.
No, not even close. But I am riding the lightning.
But yeah, go ahead. What were you getting at?
I mean, if it was just like as easy, which it isn't, but the easiest way, like in a perfect world, I would just have much more booster boxes of this entire block. Like that would be what I buy. I love booster boxes compared to every other product. Can't stand ETBs, can't stand UPCs. We have a nice house, but it's a small house. I mean, space is a constraint. Booster boxes would be of this block would be what I would say buy. But that's just not where we're at, right? So it's not really what I'm doing. I am buying when I can, what I think makes sense. My most recent pickup for my sealed position was the 4 cases of Surging Sparks. I may buy Journey Together soon. Just kind of sitting back watching that. I mean, it's somewhat appealing at 210 now.
Steve, I planned that. I laid it up for you. I gave you the softball pitch. You're supposed to say, I would buy Chinese boxes from me.
Yeah, that was gonna be my first answer. I would go onto eBay. I would go to Tactical Trading, and I would just buy out all the Chinese stuff.
Yeah, better yet, you just send me an email and you can get a better price.
There you go. Yeah, my actual answer here, and Taxman Dan has to come out and say this. One thing that scared me a little bit recently. I don't think it was the most recent one, but it was 2 ago, I think. You and Eli, I love your guys, your podcast thing you do every Monday. Somebody in chat asked about Paradox Rift at a certain price, and they're like, oh, that's with sales tax. Please, people. Alex just talked about how him and I have followings and we have the ability to buy 80-85%. Please, if you are buying with intent to resell, if you are buying as a business, as an investor, you do not need to pay sales taxes. I'm not talking about buying things to open to consume the product as a consumer. I'm talking strictly investing, a lot of which the followers to this channel are. So like, that's not me saying it. That's the IRS saying it. That's like, register as a business, do things above board, write off your gas mileage, write off your YouTube premium subscription. This is market research consuming this content right now. So like, please, I beg of you, you already are a little bit behind in that we're buying at 80, 85, 90%. You paying 100% of market, you're already in 10% above what we're in. So you've already got like a little bit higher hurdle to clear. But if you're paying 110%, maybe you live in Oregon, maybe you live in Delaware, maybe you live in a sales tax free state, so it's not as big of a consideration. But I beg of you, please, ironically, it actually saves money. Like if you're a reseller, if I go onto Tactical Trading on eBay and I buy from Steve, he gets a lower fee because if I pay sales tax, he pays final value fee on the sales tax. So it's like it benefits everyone if you do things legitimately. And whatever you're buying, please do not start 5 or 10% behind the starting line. You guys are running a 110-yard dash. Alex and I are running 80, 85-yard dashes. You might be way faster. I'm not too light on my feet, but I can beat a lot of people in an 80-yard dash compared to their 115-yard dash. A lot of people that are a lot faster than me. So just please be mindful of that. And yeah, I don't need to turn that into a 20-minute thing, but I would not be able to sleep tonight if I did not say that in this instance.
Yeah, no, it's a great take. I mean, that is like a 35-point spread potentially. So from somebody who just says like, oh yeah, sure, I'll throw $100 in Pokemon. It's like,
and what's funny, before I had a business or was able to buy things at a percentage of market, I was really successful just buying it off the open market. But these laws are pretty new. Like Missouri didn't have the sales tax law until a few years ago. So like even all the way up till then, even though I wasn't a business or anything, I was always buying online with no sales tax. And so nowadays with every state almost, except a few, adding in the sales tax, Yeah, I mean, guys, at very least, do that. I mean, you're saving, depending on the sales tax state, 6 to 9%. I don't even know what California is. Like, it's a lot of money. Like when you take think about 100 grand. If you spend 100 grand, that's $6,000 to $9,000. That's your 3 to 5 cases of destined rivals right there. I mean, that's the difference of a lot of money in the future, especially as it compounds. So Dan's right. Like that's 100%.
And Fat Belly, I think, is mostly memeing. I like paying sales tax. I'm helping society while you're hurting us. Like resellers, the way that a lot of these things go, a lot of these things are produced and then they're sold, and they might be sold a couple times. The end consumer, in all instances, whoever you sell to at the end, they pay the sales tax. But business to business transactions don't incur the sales tax. Only the final product sale from a business to a consumer is what incurs sales tax. If you're paying sales tax, I guess you're way more patriotic than me if you're paying sales tax on all your investments, on all your items intended for resale, because that is just good business. That is good, like tax avoidance, not tax evasion. I'm not saying evade your taxes. I'm not saying if you're going to go buy some Gem 2 from Tactical Trading on eBay, like don't pay sales tax when you're supposed to, but don't pay it when you don't have to.
Well, it's a God-given right, man. Like our forefathers literally fought for this double taxation. Like, don't get taxed twice.
Yeah, and as Daniel says, cashback credit cards are great. I always say I've had a credit card since I was 18, never paid a dime of interest. Do not pay interest. Don't get in this thing where you're saying I'm going to invest in Pokemon. It's going to be higher in a year, so I'm going to put it on a 0% for 18 months and I'll sell it before it's due. Nothing like that. But as a normal business expense, if you're going to like go put gas in your car and you have the money to pay for gas every month, it's always better to have cash back on every purchase. So yeah, if you're buying Pokemon, you got cash sitting in your bank, just put it on the card, immediately go pay it off that day, and you got 2% extra money. Why not?
You probably relate to this though too, Alex. And like, shout out to Alex's Discord. Alex has a free Discord where he has a buy, sell, trade section. So like before you go to eBay and you pay 100%, before you go to TCG Player and you pay 100%, if you go into Alex's Discord and you throw out a 95% offer on sealed cases of whatever, you're probably going to get bites. I buy in Alex's Discord some. I buy in my own Discord some. So it's like, find trusted, vetted people, cut out the platforms where you can, send Steve an email instead of buying from him directly on eBay. I'm all for that. And this is where I was going with that. I used to spend a couple of years ago when I was doing lower 7 figures in revenue for a business. I used to spend $1 million a year on my credit card because I was buying more from places that took it. All the best deals you can't pay with a credit card. I'm paying ACH. I'm paying wire. Like so much. I'm spending 50 to 100 grand a week every week right now, and it's almost all ACHs and wires. So like, shout out to the 0% credit cards, but better than that, shout out to the 2 to 5% rewards credit cards. But you know what's better than that? Paying 85% ACH. What do you mean? That's like a 15% discount.
Well, without like giving up like any of your people you're buying. What do you mean? Like are these like through like businesses, distributors? What do you mean?
My hot buy list that I showed just a minute ago. When I buy through that, I'm not paying with a credit card. I'm paying people PayPal friends and family. I'm paying.
Oh yeah, okay, PayPal friends
right
and
from my
family.
bank account.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, instead of going to TCG Player and paying 100 or maybe 109% of market and getting 2% cash back, that's free money, I'm actually paying 107% of market if I'm doing that, paying sales tax. Whereas if I do this, I'm not getting my 2% rewards, but like, you can have your 2% rewards. I'm going to take my 15% rewards for paying ACH or Zelle.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you can go off for 95% in a Discord or somewhere, and I get 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's missing the forest for the trees, right? It's like people who have like a terrible. They manage their finances terribly, but they're proud of their 700 credit score. It's like, it's not actually good. That's like we're
Yeah. Or you go buy something you didn't need at the store, but it was half off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny, man. Well, damn, we never got to it though. What would you be buying at full price if you were a regular consumer?
Oh, okay. I'll echo quickly, so I won't answer your question for 1 minute. I'll echo quickly what you said. Like, I did a video of best things to buy in July of 2025, whatever, and I did that based on market price as of today. But if I rate something C tier and I'm able to get it at 70%, well, now it bumps up some tiers. So if I'm paying 100% of market, I think the only thing I put in S tier on that video was 151. And I know this answer is kind of cheating. If you're in some of the restock Discords, like if you can buy at MSRP when the product is multiples of it, like that's cheating, because it's just like, yes, I would pay $5 for a $10 bill every day of the week. But even not, it's like, I like 151 a lot right now. I'm buying it aggressively. We've sold thousands through the live stream, but in the past 3-4 months, I've probably gained 5,000 packs to my inventory above what we've sold. So that's how much I like it. It might not be the best performer. It almost certainly won't be the single best performer over the next year, but I like the combination of, I think it has a high upside and a very low downside. And it all depends on your temperament as an investor. It all depends on what your time frames are, what your goals are. And 151 just serves so many of my goals. I'm fairly cautious in that I don't like the idea of seeing 50% red, minus 50%. I think if I buy Destined, I'm more likely to see negative 50%. I like the idea of gaining 100% in a couple of years. I think 151 can do that. And then if it doesn't, I sell it every day on live streams. Every day we're ripping a couple 151 packs at least. So I would go, and I don't know off the top of my head every single 151 price point, but I think booster bundles are like a 5% premium to what loose packs are, maybe 10%. I like those a lot more than like ETBs or PC ETBs. So I would buy 151 booster bundles with my reseller certificate, and I would pay 0% sales tax.
I think 151 booster bundles make tons of sense. I agree.
Yep.
Do you ever get worried about the amount of inventory you hold?
Yes.
I mean, guys, I don't know if people missed it. Like, Dan just threw around, and that's not even the amount of 151 packs he has. He just threw out 5,000 more 151 packs. Guys, that is $45,000 in one set. And that's on top of what he already had. I mean, dude, these numbers you're throwing around, I know they sound like nothing because I guess you've been in so long, but like, do you ever step back and like think about like how much real world money is getting thrown around in these things?
The reason I sleep so well at night is because it's all bought with cash. There's no credit. There's no leverage. My house is paid off. I have my sugar mama, I call her.
Sure.
We live in a low cost of living area. I live in New York, which is like a high cost of living state, but we live in like a very low cost of living county in upstate New York. So like, I know all this stuff could go to zero and I would be fine. If you go to my channel, beware if you decide to go over to my channel. There's going to be a lot of financial talk. I fill my 401k in IRA every year. So the first thing I do, I talk about my buckets. I talk about how I prioritize my spending. Before I spend a penny in Pokemon, my 401k and my 401k match, because I'm my own employer, all that stuff is maxed out before anything goes into speculation. And that's how I feel comfortable having. I have an inventory right now of over 100,000 packs of Pokemon cards. Over 100,000 packs. 151 is just one of those. But I have my live inventory on hand right now.
I mean, okay, but it's like anything else, right? Like if you were to lose 30%, like that's a huge hit. Like it's almost like going to a blackjack table and you're like, well, I sat down with $100. I have 10 grand now. I just lost 5. Like you still just lost $5,000. Like it's got at least, I don't know. I guess maybe I am more cognizant of it than.
One thing I'm mindful of though, too, is like, I was talking about 151. I was talking about how at some point I think it's going to gap 10 to 15 or 10 to 20 overnight. It's going to do it. I don't know when. I feel like it'll do it in the next 2 years. Crown did that back in January. You know how much Crown Zenith I had? I had 14,000 packs of Crown Zenith when it went from 5 to 10, like overnight. So if you do the math on that, it's like I made $70,000. Like my mind hasn't forgotten that. So if and when I get destroyed 30, 40%, like I go to bed every night knowing that my inventory could drop 50%, not overnight, but like over the series of several months. But I'm mentally accounting for the fact that like I'm up so much already. Not that I want to give it away, but like, and Alex, you've done a good job on your channel of talking about this. Like I could liquidate, I could sell it all. You know what my tax bill would be if I clicked sell all? If I just bulk sold it out to Alex and to all, I would be at the 50% tax bracket between state and federal and FICA and all that stuff. I would owe so much money. So it's like, do I want to sell it all and take a 50% haircut to avoid potentially taking a 50% haircut? I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue getting tax-free gains because the standard deduction, I'm married. We're socking away $70,000 to $80,000 a year every year into our 401ks, IRAs. So I'm just going to continue down that avenue, selling in a more optimal way. And it's treated me well so far. At some point, I might look back and say, damn, I had way too many packs and I held them way too long. But so far, I haven't been upset yet.
Dan, how many, you said you have 100,000 packs or more than 100,000 packs?
It's so I know exactly how many PK and Ponga have, which is a lot, and then I know how many are on the pallets.
So
Go ahead.
Just talking like live stream inventory, you've got 100,000 packs. How many packs do you sell a day? And right, like again, hard question to answer because it's like, well, you sell way more 151 than you do battle styles. But if we're just going to pretend it's all is liquid, everything is
it's very easy to answer. I can actually put it on screen if people want to see it. So I'm a huge data guy. I used to be an engineer, kind of a meme on my channel. How often I say I used to be an engineer, but I will pull.
I only heard that like 7 times in Charlotte.
Yeah, I know.
I never knew that's what you did for a living. That's crazy.
Yeah, we've sold on stream on Fanatics. We have sold. Let me just total it quickly. I have the chart without a total. So we have sold year to date as of last week 122,000 packs. So when you hear me say I have 100,000 packs, it's like, holy crap, that is so much. That's less than we've ripped this year. So like that's a 7-month supply.
Right.
So in some ways
exactly
it's a lot.
I was going with my question.
Like depending on the industry you're in, sometimes having 7 months of inventory is like if you're talking the produce section at a grocery store, they don't maintain 7 months worth of inventory, right? Because spoilage, because but like this stuff. 7 months of inventory in like hard goods that don't expire. Some industries that's a lot. Some industries that's a little.
Let's really blow people's minds now. Let's blow their minds. Dan, you're not that big of a streamer in the space either, right?
No. I know people that do what I do monthly. They do it weekly. So
he's not even that big. Crazy. And I always say this, and I get laughed at all the time. Guys, I have about a fifth of the amount of packs that Dan has. So when I always say I'm just a smaller streamer, everyone's like, oh, you're doing great. Like, so I'm like a fifth of what Dan has. And Dan is like, does in a month, what other people do in a week. Do you guys see what I'm talking about when I say there's levels to this stuff? Put it this way, I did the math too. Dan's 100,000 packs divided by 36, that's 2,700 booster boxes.
That's the exact math.
Rudy say that he has 2,700 boxes of certain sets at one point. So now Rudy's one position in one set is Dan's entire inventory, which is me a fifth of Dan's inventory. There's so many levels, and I think people don't really realize that. They just because you just don't know what you don't know, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dan, you're ripping 5,000 booster boxes this year, equivalent of packs. So yeah, that's.
And some of them are booster boxes. Like when Destin comes out, I send cases to Ponga and PK. When Journey came out, I sent cases. But like Sword and Shield and stuff, it like our Fusion we're ripping, our Evolving we're ripping. And I know the drama, the piping, this we've pulled Gengars, we've pulled Umbreons, I'm getting one inherent way that I get like safer, more guaranteed product. And this is just like there's no way around it. I have a better chance to buy legitimate product on the open market because I've built this brand, I've built this name over the past 11 years. People send to me first. Do you think people are going to send to me and Alex first 1,000 Fusion? Like I just bought 1,000 Fusion Strike packs from somebody. Do you think they're going to send me packs that they resealed? Do you think they're going to send me packs that they weighed, that they piped? When I have the product before they have their money, it's like I've done this for 11 years. PK and Ponga have done this for a long time. We know how to vet product. If anything's suspicious, I start opening some packs. And it's like, if you send me bad product, I'm going to name you. I'm going to shame you. I'm not going to pay you. I'm probably not going to send your stuff back. Like you're going to have just lost all your money, all your product, whatever. So like that's one question that I get a lot. I get a lot of pushback. I'm like, Dan, how are you even doing this? How do you feel safe buying these things? Because of the way that I buy them. It's just, and not everyone can replicate that. I know years ago, Alex, you used to talk about how you'd go onto eBay and you'd buy this, you'd buy that. Over time, you slowly you build up more connections and you build up more abilities that not everyone has access to. And that's, again, like, please don't pay sales tax on items intended for resale because you're already starting a little bit before the starting line compared to us. And then don't put yourself even further back voluntarily.
Yeah, and I think the word scam gets thrown around way too often in this hobby, way too loosely, because guys, like a business selling something for a price you don't agree with is not a scam. That's you go to someone else that has a better price, right? People that will log on a stream, and I'm sure Dan's had it too, and PK and Ponga, where, you'll open 10 packs in a row and get no hits. And they'll say, those are resealed. I literally had a stream where I had to ban someone because they kept at it. Like, he's selling resealed packs. He's selling pipe packs, all this stuff. We went 17 Evolving Skies packs in a row with no hits. Serious, true story. It's a live stream. It's still uploaded on the video. We got 2 packs in a row, mind you. The odds of this are astronomical. We literally pulled a Sylveon VMAX and a Rayquaza VMAX back-to-back packs. What are the odds of pulling 2 VMAX Alt Arts in Evolving Skies back-to-back? Extremely. Now, about the same as the odds of pulling 17 with no hits. And so it's like when you're dealing with loose packs from all different products, you're always going to have all kind of crazy different hit rates. It's not like a booster box. But to scream reseal because you just didn't get lucky, you got unlucky. Like the guy that got those 2 aren't saying, well, here, give 1 back to the other guy because he got unlucky. I got 2 lucky. It's just, it's the luck of the draw on packs. And I think people are just way too like, they think like there's these guaranteed hit rates in Pokemon. You can even get booster boxes where you get trash boxes where you might get 9 or 10 hits. I've had it happen. There's no guarantees in this stuff unless you're opening, I guess, Japanese where they guarantee a hit rate, but English isn't like that.
People are very bad at math, and I did an entire video on this because maybe it was like March or April timeframe. We had already opened 40,000 packs or whatever it was. I did the math on it. It's like me being a math guy. It's like statistically speaking, when you open 250,000 packs, crazy things are going to happen. Some people will be very lucky. Some people will be very unlucky. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I in one 30-minute video, I went through. It's like if you sell 25,000 9-pack lots, which is how we sell most of our packs, either 9-pack, 36-pack lots, sometimes 100-pack lots. But statistically speaking, like it is a certainty that someone will go 0 for 9. It is a certainty that someone will go 1 for 9, like fairly commonly. And I did the math on like how many customers should be expected to go that way. And the way that it works too is like it's way more likely to go 0 for 9 than it is 9 for 9 because the hit rate is 1 in 3. So 1 in 3 to the 9th power is a very, very low number. The odds of getting 9 for 9 hits is astronomical. The odds of going, I mean, now it's two-thirds to the 9th power. That's a lot more likely because it's twice as likely that you're going to get no hit as you're going to get a hit. But another thing that people are bad with math on, if the pull rate for something is 1 in 1,000, we don't know exactly what it is, but Moonbreon, say it's 1 in 1,000. Gengar VMAX, say it's 1 in 1,000. That doesn't mean buying 1,000 packs guarantees it. Some people in 1,000 packs will pull 3, but shout out to all the RuneScape players out there. What do we have? 400 people in here live. There might be 4 people that play RuneScape, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So only 6, like if 1,000 people each open 1,000 packs, only 63% of it will get the drop, will get the card in the pull rate. That's just math. Some people will get 2, 3, 4 on average. Like if 1,000 people open a pack at the same time, one person should get it, but sometimes 5 might get it, sometimes 0 might get it. So yeah, like just hitting some people with some math, and people are really bad at that.
And to all the new people in the hobby that are used to like these newer Scarlet Violet hit rates, where some of these Destin and Journey boxes have like 15 hits in a box. Guys, back in early evolutions, you got like 4.
Yeah.
And then later evolutions, it went up to like 6 and then like up to 8. Even Sword and Shield, it was still 8 until it got to the trainer gallery sets. And so the average Evolving Skies Chilling Reign Fusion Strike box, 8 hits. 8 hits out of 36 packs. Most of those are going to be Vs. Maybe you get a full art. Maybe you get a gold, rainbow, or something else. Like, a lot of people are just too used to the Scarlet Violet hit rates. So when they go open those, they don't understand why they're not hitting. It's because Pokemon hit rates were they used to include hollows as hits back in X, Y, and Sun and Moon, I believe. Those were considered hits. Well, you got 4 hollows, you got 4 Vs, and you got 10 hits. And it's just like, oh man. I think we just changed so many times over the eras that a lot of people like haven't been there, and they don't realize the hit rates were just trash back then. They just were.
Yeah, a lot of people think if the pull rate's 1 in 1,000, they're like, if I didn't pull it in my 1,000th pack, you scammed me. But that's not at all the way that it works.
Just Gabriel,
thank you for the chat, dude. Super chat. A crazy theory would be if Pokemon gave Chinese sets exclusive special arts to try to get consumers back off of English and Japanese. That's wild. That's a wild theory, actually. It is weird how they've been doing more of that. Like the what is it? The Pokemon. What's the game called? The like
Pocket.
Yeah, Pocket. Like they gave all those exclusive arts, and everybody wants them as cards, and they won't make those as cards. They've been getting more exclusive with it.
The hobby would just break if they released the Pokemon Pocket cards. It would just it would be.
Do you have it? Do you play it?
I don't. I downloaded it and played it like the first day it came out, and I was just like, oh, it's just opening packs. I'm good. I'm not interested.
I opened packs for like a month, and then I haven't done it in months now.
I can happily say I never downloaded it. Anthony, I worry also about all my sealed product. I have renter's insurance up to $250K. Do you guys carry insurance on your sealed product inventory? Yeah, I actually do. I didn't for the longest time. I actually do now just because Dan could tell you. I don't know, Steve, you might have insurance at this point too. Like just there's other benefits you can get with the policies. Like if you send shipments with signature required to or from me, it's covered by the insurance. It doesn't have to be covered by the USPS or the UPS insurance. It's just covered by, your insurance policy. Yeah, it covers like lost, damaged, stolen items as long as you're keeping, a detailed track of your inventory and pictures and all that. I've heard it gets paid out well. And it's just peace of mind type thing. So like, yeah, I do. And it's a specific collectibles policy. It's not through any type of like homeowners or anything like that. But at what point it becomes worth it, that's each individual. It's the same thing like having storage, like getting a unit or something. If you don't have that much, I would say try to get it in your house. Once you get to too much, you could make the case that, oh, well, if I have 100K and it's costing me X amount to store it for the year, it's only costing me 1% of my investment to store it. I should be able to outgain that or whatever. Makes sense. But those are all just questions you have to answer for yourself. You guys have anything to add on to that?
You have anything, Steve? Or I have one thing I have to add.
Steve, do you have insurance on anything?
I do not. But after Dan goes, I have a question as well for both of you.
Yeah, so very, very likely, Anthony Martinez, be careful. It would be the first time I've ever heard of it being the case, but like I have a homeowner's policy. If my house burns down, whatever, it's for like $500,000, and then it's for like so much of contents, personal items. There are sublimits on many things. Collectibles would cover none of it. Like I might have a $250,000, $500,000 sublimit on personal property for my homeowner's insurance. But I promise you the sublimit for collectibles is like $1,000. I've looked at multiple people's in like consults. I've looked at people's like I'm not an insurance expert, blah, 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 all those disclaimers. But I can almost guarantee that your sublimit for collectibles is probably $2,500 tops. So look into getting CollectInsure is who I use. I'm not affiliated or whatever. I've just been a happy consumer of that product for the past several years. But yeah, I think I've had conversations with people oftentimes where it's like, oh yeah, my renter's policy covers this, my homeowner's covers that. Look into it. It doesn't. I can guarantee you it doesn't unless you're paying something special. Geico wouldn't insure me. Allstate, all these like State Farm, most of those people won't touch it. You need a more exotic insurer like CollectInsure or something who builds policies just for collectibles.
What's the question, Steve?
So with the claims on shipping disputes, have y'all both had to do that, I'd imagine, at this point?
Dan has. I haven't.
I had a big one. And anecdotally, I don't want to use other people's names, but I think some other people that are big in the space have talked about it publicly. I don't want to speak for them, but there are people operating at the same and higher levels than me that also use the same CollectInsure. But I'll give you like a pretty crazy scenario that I had. It was a $13,000 inbound consignment package shipped to me from Austria, if my memory serves me correctly. So they hit me up with what they were sending. We had a rough market value. It got delivered to me. I have security cameras. I had no footage of ever receiving it. It was a bigger box. They basically claimed that it was delivered to my mailbox, but the dimensions and the weight of the thing, it's like this wouldn't have fit in my mailbox. But anyways, I went through. I had to do a police report, all this stuff. $13,000 check from the insurance company minus the deductible. But they fully paid it out because I was able to prove that it was stolen from my property. And then I live near Syracuse, but I ended up finding like a month later, the cards that were supposed to come to me ended up being sold on eBay through an account registered a couple towns over. So somebody either DHL it fell off the back of the truck or they intentionally stole it. I never even followed up with the police afterwards because like all I needed was the police report and then my insurance company paid out for me. But yeah, it was a pretty wild situation and the insurance company paid out in full. That's the only claim I've ever had.
I don't think I know anyone. I know you're talking about too, I think, but I don't think I know anyone who's had like a fire or a flood though. Have you? Like
No. And I'll say like this is entirely Pokemon aside, but like back in college, my apartment burned down. I lived off campus. My apartment burned down. So I've gone through having like a claim for fire. And I remember back in college, I used to do buying and selling on eBay with coins a little bit. I had some coins there. And that's when I found out I had renter's insurance and I had renter's insurance up to like $10,000. in total value. And in college, it's like I had a couple of video games, I had a couple whatever, but I had maybe like $1,000 in coins. Most of it was like junk silver. And maybe Steve, this is up your alley. It was mostly just worth its bullion value. That stuff wasn't destroyed in the fire, so it wasn't a big deal. But had I had $5,000 in Pokemon booster boxes, they would have covered $250 because that was my sub limit for collectibles. It wasn't an issue because my coins didn't melt. My coins were only worth what they were worth for their silver value. But yeah, and shout out to State Farm way back when I had my apartment fire. They were great. Shout out to Collect Insure when I had my policy, when I had my thing a couple years ago with inbound consignment.
Shout out to Trading Cards and Collectibles, Ray. Hey, appreciate the gifted memberships, Ray.
Insurers will generally do like what they can to not pay out a claim, and I forget the name of who gave that super chat, but I'm quite confident that you do not have a $250,000 limit
Anthony.
for Pokemon. And I don't want you to find that out if your house is broken into, if your house burns down. Like, please look into that. And like, I don't care if you go get insurance, but just be cognizant of what you actually have. When people think they have something and they don't, that's just a bad situation all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good lesson to learn early.
Man, so like, Dan, Steve, you too, how are you guys like positioning your businesses going into the end of the year? I mean, are you, either of you, worried at all about a slowdown? Are you slowing down buying? Are you taking any steps to change anything at all? Or is it full speed ahead, blinders on, the market's going to remain stable, everything's going to keep moving like wildfire?
What do you think, Steve?
I'm not, because I mean, context. So I started this and made it like a legitimate thing and was like, you know what, I'm going to explore this seriously, but I'm only going to explore it in a somewhat contained manner. I put $20,000 into a business in September of 2023. And I haven't put a single dollar into it since. That number is more than 6 times. Like I have inventory, assets, cash in excess of $100,000 now from that $20,000 seed. So back to the, if it corrects 50%, it's like, well, really, I've just lost a lot of time and effort, but like, it's going to be very hard for me to go below my $20,000 seed at this point. So, and I've not taken $1 out. I've not put $1 in. So this is very detached from what it takes for my family and my household to sustain. So I'm finally going as hard as I probably should have been going this whole time, for the first time.
So you're going even harder than you were before then, going forward.
Yes. And it's
no breaks, no slowing down, nothing.
What's that?
So no breaks, no slowing down, full speed ahead.
Yeah. And I'm trying, the only thing that's going to stop me is like my own capacity, because I have corporate ambitions. There's still things I'm trying to work on with my real life. So like, I don't want this to become like 100 hours a week. I probably put more than 40 hours a week into this, and I put more than 40 hours a week into my real job as well. So I definitely put the hours in, but at this point, if things go down, it's really just going to be like a loss of time. I don't think there's a chance that I lose if I ever go below my initial seed, which would be devastating. I'd hate to see that, of course, but yeah, I'm playing with house money.
Love it. What about you, Dan? Business as usual?
So I said a couple of months ago on one of my live streams, maybe it was even with you, I can't remember, but I at the time had about 100,000 packs, and I said by the fall I want to get it down to like 80. I've not done a good job at that. Yeah, it was probably on a live with you. I've failed that mission. I want my liquidity to be higher, but I just can't.
I've heard of failing upwards.
It's like I can't help myself. I'm buying new vintage packs for the streams. People probably don't know what this is, but it's like a sealed base case of like Japanese decks. This is where it all started, like Japanese base. I spent a bunch of money on like Japanese vintage stuff, and then now I'm hitting up Steve, sending him ACHs, 5-figure ACHs for like Chinese product for the streams, and I'm buying more 151. I'm firing up some a new streamer fairly soon as well. But so I'm consciously trying to get more liquid. I'm trying to get up to my liquidity goal, and I've just not done a good job. I'm going to try to do better over the next month or two, but we'll see what actually happens. That's not out of like panic, thinking it's all going to crash. Like I'm not as confident as some people are that saying like, oh, we're guaranteed safe through the 30th. I think it could be a slow winter. You never really know. But I just like having liquidity. I once a week I'm getting an email or a DM of a $25,000 collection, whether it's singles and slabs or whether it's cases, and I've had to turn down more than I want to, because some of those are just like buy them at 80%, sell them through the live stream, sell them through where, like, some of those are just like obvious, make 5-10% margin on a quick flip, and I've had to say no because the bank account's not there right now. So I'm gonna say the same answer I said last time. I'm gonna try to get down to 70 to 80,000 packs in the next few months, but I might not succeed.
And yeah, so to add like further on to that, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, while I am buying more product than ever, there's more liquidity in my account. I have access to more capital now than I ever have as well. So it is relative. I mean, I'm aggressively buying, but I also have more cash sitting on the sidelines ready to deploy on an opportunity.
Hey, shout out to Wish Nikki for the super chat. Happy Friday. I want to reiterate, Wish Nikki is a very trusted source to buy from. Anyone that wants to do business with them, very easy to work with, very good communication, no issues, despite what other YouTubers may say about them. That's all. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, man, I'm the same way. Like, I just don't see, the views on YouTube, not just my channel, but other channels seem very stable, if not growing. The market is very stable, if not growing. I mean, Scarlet, like I said, there's not a Scarlet Violet box that I see at this point dropping under $200, other than maybe like a new one, like a Stellar, maybe Surging, but maybe like a Journey, if those get reprints, like some of the weaker sets. But it's just like, I mean, everything just seems so stable, so confident. The sales volume looks good. There's always going to be buyouts of random singles here and there. But otherwise, I don't know. The streams are all picking up now that summer's ending. There's nothing in my view that I can see or coming here in the near future that I see a reason to slow down or take the foot off the gas or try to, start to kind of, shore up your cash positions and things. The reason I've been holding cash is just because I just haven't had enough to buy. I'm just waiting for the right collections to come and move. But it's not really because I see the market headed down. I just don't, know what kind of we were talking about. Other than 151, there hasn't been obvious plays to throw cash at. And I mean, you feel stupid when you see the stock market just keep hitting new highs and crypto hitting new highs and Pokemon hitting new highs. But at the same time, it just feels risky. It feels risky buying into, a team up box when it was, $2,000 and now it's $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, or buying into a slab when it used to be $2,000, now it's $15,000. I don't know, it just feels more dangerous than it's worth, I guess, is why I'm holding. I'm not slowing down any business operations, but I've definitely been slowing down investing because, like you guys said, the new sets are really expensive out the gate. Doesn't seem like a good risk to reward ratio, and I'm just kind of paying attention for anyone that wants to sell their collections and taking any opportunities there type thing. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to see. So that's kind of the agreed upon thing right now in the hobby though, right? Nothing slowing down till the 30th. I would say that's kind of what I'm seeing for most people. I don't know.
What do you think on that, Steve? Are we guaranteed rocket emojis through the 30th?
I don't know, man. I hate that word so much, but it's really, again, back to the very first, the first few minutes of our conversation. I just, outside of macro stuff, I just don't see it. I don't see anything that's super obvious unless the macro gets shaky.
And that's possible. That's a fairly big, to say I think it's solid except for this one thing that could make it not solid. There's a decent percentage there. Is it single digit? Is it low double digit? No clue. But
yeah, I hate that politics have become so polarizing. And, the media organizations are so polarizing, depending on who you watch. Is it Fox? Is it CNN? That it's almost getting impossible to get a real feel on actual information. It's just how good is the economy? How much are tariffs going to affect or are affecting things? It's how good is because it's almost getting hard to trust anything that you hear. Data, is it manipulated? Or is it it's so hard to get a feel for where things are going, because it's like when you look at the stock market, all I can see is all green. But then, you hear about all the regular individuals, grocery prices, tariffs are starting to hit, getting harder. And so it's just like, it's really hard to get a strong feel on where we're headed right now.
Yeah, I think the only data that you can truly trust, like if you're getting your data off some crypto guy on YouTube, probably want to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe get a second opinion. But
or some Pokemon channel on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Listening to us. But like PPI just came out yesterday and it went up pretty significantly. It was pretty abruptly went up. PPI is a producer price index. So that is what it costs businesses to produce goods. That does not mean it's hit the downstream channels yet. You, me, everybody watching when we go to the grocery store, we're not necessarily seeing those higher prices yet. But if PPI is increasing, like that's a pretty valuable data point to keep in mind and say, well, if it's costing businesses more to produce, then they will eventually pass that on to consumers. Now, you can't use that single data point in isolation. That may come back down next month. But if the CPI report comes out, and that's a consumer price index, comes out and it's also showing an uptick, and well, now you have 2 data points. Now you're starting to see maybe a little more of a concerning trend. So like true data, well, and even the true data can be revised. They revise unemployment 30 days later. But that would be the data that I would say, like, look at for the macro stuff to really make decisions. Like where's the money supply at? Where's inflation at? These are like your more true benchmarks that you could like put some faith in when you're making decisions, but you can so easily just get lost in that as well and just become too analytical and never act on it. Because the hardest part of all of it's timing, right? Like we all know at some point the show's got to stop. You can't just continue to print money, but it could literally happen for another century, or it might end tomorrow. So like, how are you gonna make decisions in that environment? So the data can sometimes
kind of like, it's like, well, if everything goes down, like everything goes down anyway. It's like, if everything crashes, stock market crashes, the empire falls. It's like, it doesn't matter where you got your money. It's all gone. And so it's like either all the wealthy people who all have all of their money invested in all these same stocks and same funds, they're going to find a way to keep it all going. Whether the government has to do some stuff they did back in 2008, whatever it may be, you believe they're always going to find a way, whether it be fair or not, to keep the show running, or it's all going to fall apart and go to zero and we're going to get conquered and like, I just find it, I think it's like, again, risk to reward. I think the risk of sitting out is far greater than the risk of worrying about some like societal collapse or some kind of black swan event. I don't know.
So then why aren't you buying?
Huh?
Why aren't you buying?
Because I'm one of these weird people who thinks they can time the market. I'm thinking eventually I'll be able to get some cash in on like a 10, 15, 20% correction. And, I'm probably going to
What's your buy price? Like 151.
Well,
I did that you're bullish on it too.
Well, the stock market. So I was able to get some money in stocks back during the tariff announcement, right? When AMD dropped into the 80s. We had, I've always liked AMD stock. We had Tesla. We had a lot of huge corrections, like in my opinion, huge corrections when the tariffs were announced, where I was able to get some money working then. But it's like now a lot of this stuff is, again, double what it was. It's like, well, do I really want to up my cost basis on those 50% and pay 100% more than I was paying? Or do I just wait and maybe try to get in on a little bit of things are at all-time high. When you look at the charts of how other things look back in like 2008, back in 2001, like it is getting a little similar. I definitely probably try to time the market more than I should. But at the same time, I also kind of convinced myself, maybe it's wrong or right, but I convinced myself, well, having extra cash on hand is good because when these collections come, I will be able to, buy more and I'll be able to make more percentage off of those gains than I would having it sit in a stock and possibly go stagnant or down. So I think I'll just keep cash and I'll keep buying collections when they come to me, when I see good ones. So like, there's a lot of things that run around in your head, but yeah, I probably should be fully invested and I'm not. It's probably stupid.
Hold on.
Paying
that was a lot of words.
Stupid.
That was a lot of words. Say the line. You got to say the line. DJ.
I'm gonna wait.
There we go.
Well, but like, you guys have been watching Rudy. Most people in here have probably been watching Rudy for 5 years at this point. If we're this deep in the hobby, I remember when he had like 5,000 subscribers. But when he made that card shop series, I forget what he called it. It might have been that. I remember a specific video where he talked about like why local card shops don't make it. And he was like, well, the value of me having this location is to be able to buy somebody's Power 9 collection for $50,000. And most local card shops do not have the opportunity. They don't have the liquidity to buy that. So like having the cash on hand to take advantage of the opportunities is absolutely where you guys are at with communities and people that are involved, and somebody's eventually going to reach out to sell something, whether it's 100 packs or 100 booster cases, like that's a reality that you guys are living in. So yeah, I think it absolutely makes sense to have a lot of dry powder on hand because the deals.
Rudy watches Dan.
I did see a Rudy. I saw a Rudy comment on your video. That was pretty cool.
I've seen two. I think I've seen twice.
The pallet video was the one that I can think of first, but it's funny because it came up as Alpha Investment 69, which I thought was like a spoof account or whatever. But when you clicked on it, it went to his channel, 300,000 subscribers. I kind of gave some meme reply to it too, but yeah.
And you've been in his Patreon since the beginning, right?
I was gonna say that I've been in his Patreon for a long time, and once a year maybe I've messaged him, and he always replies like he says that he does. I've messaged him a couple times, so maybe he saw my avatar, my username in there, and then hey, it flashed on YouTube like the same week that I had messaged him, and that's probably how it happened.
And then he probably sees mine, and it says, account banned because I left at one point. Yeah. Well, you know what sucks about that? I was a member of his Patreon because I followed Rudy since like near the beginning of his channel, like when it was very fresh, right? He probably had like 6,000 or 8,000 subscribers, and so I was a pretty early Patreon, and then I left. And way before he ever made that rule, like I left before. Well, I still got banned because I guess I left at some point, even before that rule was made. And now I can't even get back in.
You got to create a new account. You got to create a new Patreon account.
Yeah, so I'm banned from his Patreon too. I hopped in literally just to say thanks for all the content and give him $15, so I could never be a patron of his.
It's so funny, but yeah, I've seen him comment your videos. I'm like, oh man. Rudy's
I've spent a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money over the past 10 years for that privilege, I guess.
Did you buy that whale box he's put out?
No, he adds tax. Well, I don't even want to get into this conversation, but he adds tax. He comps him off TCG Player, and then he adds what tax would be generally. He adds 7% or whatever, some number like what average tax is, and then he discounts it like 5%. So he's selling at like 103% of market. And I guess I'm going to say it, like how people like him get away not charging sales tax. I have no clue. Yeah, that's wild to me.
I'm not kidding. I work with my friend now. I probably complain to him at least a few times a month because, just keeping track of all the different sales tax, dealing with Avalar. I have calls with them, dealing with all the different filings. Some are monthly, some are quarterly, some are yearly, just dealing with all the new signups when you hit Nexus and, then you'll get a notice on, something went wrong from one of the states. It is a mess. And then I look around at all these giant companies, which I'll call them out. I don't care. Like obviously Rudy doesn't. Freaking, how does Hills Wholesale Gaming not charge sales tax? How does Safari Zone not charge sales tax? I don't know. A little streamer like me is already hitting Nexus in 8 states. I don't know. But I know the last thing I'm going to do is get in a fight with the government. And so I pay all my taxes like a good little boy. And I will find Dan. I'll find every way in the world to get around, and find as many legal write-offs as I can. But at the end of the day, I claim I am so crazy about it. I claim like everything. I claim Venmo. I claim friends and family. I don't care. I don't want to hide a thing from the government. My goal is I'll find legal ways to, save as much as I can. But the last thing I'm going to do is freaking end up in prison for stupid tax stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know how they do it. I wish I knew their secret. I really do.
They just pay a better accountant a lot more than you do. That's probably what it is.
But how?
Advil, Safari being in a non-tax state has nothing to do with how much they ship to taxable states. There's a thing called Sales Tax Nexus. Shout out to Brian Pokiani. He's got videos on how it works. And yeah, they would definitely be crossing Sales Tax Nexus in every single state. 50 states. It's got to be by this point.
We'd have to. It doesn't take much to cross, by the way, guys. It's like very limited to like 50 grand sales in some states. It's not, some are less, some are like amount of transactions. I don't get it, man. But I just play by the rules and whatever.
One thing that I do to sidestep all that like headache, all that red tape is I sell through eBay. I sell through Fanatics. They handle it. So like if you're out there and you're selling through eBay, that's not on you. You don't have to worry about Avalara, Sales Tax Nexus, because eBay as the platform is collecting and remitting sales tax, except for like, hey, if you're selling to a guy like me, if you're selling to a guy like Alex and Steve, I presume you maybe buying through China, maybe you don't have to have it, but I presume you probably have your business stuff set up to where you're buying stuff on eBay, sales tax exempt when you're buying with intent for resale. So Yeah, if you're selling through eBay, this isn't a thing anyways. If you're selling through Whatnot, if you're selling through Fanatics, those platforms handle everything in that front.
Which is huge. Like no one, dude, we talk about it. Like the fee thing gets so over dramatized, like, paying these fees. It's like, guys, I know PokeNE, like Brian's really pro like website, but you guys got to remember, Brian's built a 60,000 subscriber following. Brian was posting 7 TikToks, whatever, 10 TikToks a day, posting to all of his platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all this stuff. He also pays for ads. I don't know if he still does, but he was paying for massive amounts of ads on Instagram,
Thousands
on Facebook.
A month, he said at one point.
Yeah. How much?
Thousands a month, he mentioned at one point in the video.
Yeah. Paying thousands a month for ads to push a store out there. And so what you don't have to do on eBay and TCG Player is do any of that. That they find you all the customers, and their algorithms are set up to, push your items, whatever you're listed at. eBay, you can pay to play and pay a little more on ad spend to get pushed to the top of the list, just up your price a little bit, play that game. But it's like they do that. They take care of all the back end taxes for you, so you don't have to pay companies to do filings and to do returns for you, to just deal with all of that nonsense. They keep very easy track of all your sales, your returns, your shipping costs, everything. So you can print that out for your 1099 at the end of the year. It's a much easier scenario. And yes, you are going to pay some fees for all of that work they're doing for you. But a lot of the time it might make more sense. Oh, by the way, it costs money to have a website, your domain, your hosting. There's just a lot of things that are built into. Now, if you're just like someone, you're just like selling stuff here and there, Facebook or Discord, I get it. If you're trying to build a real business, there's a very real argument to be made, I would say, both ways, a website or eBay or TCG Player.
And the thing is, though, too, like if you are building something massive over a decade plus, Z&G Emporium pays out 95% on sales above $3,000. Probestein pays out 95% on sales above $1,000. So if they're paying out 95%, what do you think their fee structures are? I know I'm close with some people that are contracted. I've talked with some people that work at Fanatics, who's formerly PWCC, that was contracted with eBay.
Yeah.
You can pay less for an eBay store if you're doing multi-7 figures, high in the 7 figures, maybe even 8 figures. But you can pay less than Brian's paying on Wix. You can pay less than people are paying on Shopify if you get there.
You know their numbers. How is it possible? Because isn't payment processing 3%?
So payment processing, like if you open a bagel shop on your corner and you do payment processing, you are paying 3 to 4%. eBay has deals with MasterCard, Visa, Amex. They are not paying the same.
I'm trying to figure out Probestein and them. What are they making? Like 1% on this 5% deal? Are they making a couple? Like they can't be making that much percent. It's just so much volume, right?
I won't tie it to any specific individual, but there are people on eBay, there are accounts on eBay that are paying under 2%. Under 2% all in.
Payment processing included.
Everything included. Yep. That's how if you sell, and they charge shipping, they probably make a little bit of money on the shipping. But if you sell a $1,200 case of anything, because everything's over $200 a box now, if you sell a $1,200 case on Probestein, they net you out 95% of that. With that, they're paying their worker. They're paying for, they don't really do a whole lot of advertising. I think it's all just word of mouth at this point. But they're making their money. They're paying their overhead. They're paying their labor. And they're profiting, and they're paying their eBay fees, and they're profiting within that 5%. So I'm not saying it's them, but I'm saying that there are accounts that are paying less than 2% effectively fees.
It's crazy. I mean, if you're pursuing this full time, like I think Brian did it a great way. If you're like 9 to 5, like I don't want to pursue this full time, but like I see opportunity here, eBay is a no brainer. I mean, the fees are high, but the amount of value you get out of that and the data collection that you get out of that to help make future decisions will blow your mind. If you leverage it correctly and you take the time to understand it.
And then long term, the upside is there that like you can work your 12 down to 9, down to 6, down to 5, down to 2. If you get to Probestein does $100 million plus a year in sales, but Shopify presumably would be similar. But the thing is, you're starting with Shopify at like 3.5%. If you do 10 million, maybe you get it down to 3%. If you do, I'm sure they come down some, but eBay, eBay is a great spot if you can scale into, and I never did, to be completely clear. Like I never did scale into those. I was really close.
Which is crazy. That's like demoralizing to hear.
Yep. I did 1.3 million in 2023, which was my final full-time year on eBay. I've transitioned a ton over to Fanatics now. And they threw me a number at the end, but it was like, it wasn't enough for how committed I got into the Fanatics ecosystem. And yeah, that was the whole thing. But 1.3 million in 2023 got me a high single-digit % offer that I did not take because it just wasn't worth it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Because I could get better than my proposed rate through ZNG, through Probstein. So it's like, why am I gonna go exclusive?
But not on everything.
Not on everything, no.
What if you're selling like $100 cards?
Yeah, then it would be better. But yeah, I have better than that through Fanatics now. So I just go with Fanatics.
I get it. Mike, what's up, dude? I have 33 prismatic ETBs. Got an offer to trade to 14 for 48 151 poster collections. Thoughts? I think it's just a good question in general. Like, what do you guys feel more confident in? Prismatic ETBs at this current cost, or if you could do a direct trade, would you move into 151 items?
I like 151 better personally, but that might.
Because they're about 100 in ETB right now.
And another thing of this is like you would still have 19 prismatic ETBs after the trade. So like, do you have 0 151 now? I would like it as like a partial hedge, right? Like right now you might have 0 151 exposure. There's always like, the question is this, but then you can go so many layers deeper into the nuance of like what your situation is. But I like the trade regardless of the answer otherwise.
Yeah, I think just run the numbers. If the trade's 1 for 1, are you happy holding prismatic and 151, or would you rather just have all your prismatic? That's how I would evaluate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like that. I do like that. I don't know, Steve, Dan, you guys got anything you wanted to touch on? We'll take some more questions, but anything we didn't touch you guys wanted to hit on? Appreciate you guys taking the time to come on today.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. We missed you in Charlotte.
Dude, I know. Next year, hopefully I'm more to Dan's level where I can afford to take some more vacations. Dude, I'm just like slammed. I talk about it all the time. My wife, it's just like, it's so weird because I've done much harder businesses, but Pokemon is this weird business where it just seems like time disappears every day. You know, it's just like every day you can work 12, 14 hours a day in this business without even feel like the day, like where to go. You know, it's just like, I've never spent so much time working on a business as I have in the Pokemon business. And I've ran multiple. It's not like it's like physically tiring or anything. Like I was up late last night. I'm a little tired, but it's really just the time. I mean, everything is so time consuming. All the research, the working the deals, the looking up the products, the getting the streams ready, the advertising it, the making the content, coming up with the content, the actual streams themselves. Because I'm streaming, I don't have a streamer working for me. And so it's like when you add it all up, man, the hours, dude, they just disappear like that.
Is there a desire to start doing more of the Dan model and start having the ability to scale this thing, or are you enjoying the lane that you're in?
I like where I'm at right now. Like I don't know. It's a risk. I don't know, Dan. What were your feelings when you moved into this? Were you having cold feet, or was it a pretty easy decision for you?
Moving into full-time Pokemon, or
moving into having streamers stream on your accounts?
Oh, it's.
I mean, obviously PK Pong, you know really well, but was it still like a hard decision, or was it pretty ezy?
It was fairly easy to at least give it a shot. Like I didn't know that it would become what it came today, but Alex hired me.
And Dom's always looking for another job.
Yeah. But my streamer's always my one streamer. That streamer in particular is always flexing his free agency. He's not under contract. He can work for anybody. But I tell him, and he knows it. I compensate him well enough that I'm not worried anybody will steal him from me. But who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised someday. But I've done bulk. I've done buying, grading, reselling. I've done buying collections and breaking them down and selling them. I've done like everything in the Pokemon sphere. And the one big miss was like, aside from, I got to shout out Metazoo on Torrential Tide's release date, the new set. But aside from Metazoo, I actually used to stream Metazoo, original Metazoo. I did native streams. I did UFO streams. I did sound streams on YouTube. So like I've done a little bit of live streaming, but never with Pokemon. That was with Metazoo. I never did it to a big extent. So it's like,
well, you've also really never had employees.
I still don't.
And not that they're employees on 1099.
Independent contractors.
Pretty much done everything yourself, or like sent your products to companies to fulfill and do for you. You've never had employees either.
That's exactly what I'm doing right now, though. So I used to talk about Troll and Toad Evo, and like Ponga, PK, they are my Troll and Toad. Like they are other businesses. They're like you laugh, but like they really are. It's a similar setup to what Troll and Toad Evo was. Like how are Probstein or ZNG Emporium different from Ponga or PK? They're my exclusive independent contractors currently. They're not under contract though. They could offer their services to anybody. And Ponga is always offering his services to everybody. But yeah, like I've got them locked down right now. They don't independently contract for anyone else, but they are businesses that could theoretically do that. So I see it very similar to what I used to do with Troll and Toad, very similar to what I currently do. I still use DC Sports. I use ComC. I use Probstein. I use a little bit of everyone. And they're just businesses that I send all my stuff, and then they decide how to sell them the best way, and they charge me a commission for that, and I pay them their commission. So but yeah, going back to your original question, it was like the one space in Pokemon that 11 years ago, it wasn't a thing. It's like, hey, Dan, 2014, do you want to start live streaming Phantom Forces, Primal Clash, Roaring Skies, Rips? Whatnot didn't exist. Fanatics Live didn't exist. Like, this is a new space. There might have been a couple people sometime in the late 2010s that did Facebook things or Instagram things where they ripped a couple of packs. But it going to all the cons that I went to, doing all the business that I've done in the past few years, like it became massive. And it's like, how do I not give it a try? And PK Ponga
was it or was it not the Poke Flips that you brought Master Set on? Was that the turning point? Did you talk to him?
I've known him for a while, and I've known his numbers for a while. So like that was one contributing factor towards like I saw the numbers, and I was going to all these shows. I was vending a decent bit, and like most of my sales at shows were just buyouts by vendors, buyouts by Cloud, buyouts by Master Set.
And you're like, how are they able to pay this much?
Let me at least explore the other side of that transaction, and now I'm the one doing the buyouts. Now I'm the one buying collections, buying packs, buying singles from people to sell in the streams. So 2 to 5 years, maybe it's still my primary business sales right now, but I truly don't know. I'm just kind of like riding the wave, and this is where the tide has brought me.
Do you guys remember Darium's?
Yep, Card Shop Life.
I would
Card
love
Shop Life that you talked about earlier with Rudy. Rudy modeled his game store like series of videos after Darium's Card Shop Life. Yep.
Guys, if anyone has any contact with Darium's, let me know or have them reach. I would love to have him on for a stream sometime to talk to him. They've had a crazy ride on YouTube.
He sold his YouTube and then he bought it back. I think he's making content again on his.
Well, they've also built a pretty good Twitch following.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to have a combo with him, and because dude, he's had a crazy like business and career in this space. And content creation. I mean, they're like 400,000, 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel. It's huge. It's sad that like a lot of the people in the hobby now don't know who that is. Like they were a big deal.
He was doing he did a profit or loss video 6 days ago with 4.8K views. He's got 500,000 subscribers on his channel, but he used to do 1,000 pack rips back when 1,000 packs was a lot to rip. He used to do 1,000 pack rips of all the sets.
I'm not going to name all the different names, but like, dude, I'm so jealous of like some of these creators that they're able to stay out of like the drama limelight. I'm so jealous of like people who have like these channels and they get great views and they have a great following and no one like they're never in anyone's like no one's ever talking crap on it. Like I'm like, dude,
I'm gonna call Cap on that too. Steve is collectively calling Cap on that.
Hey, man,
you thrive on it. You thrive on it.
Comparison is the thief of joy, Alex.
What's that?
I went to his channel. I looked at popular videos. He has 10 million views 8 years ago on opening 1,000 packs of evolutions. That's crazy.
Dude, I remember watching the 1,000 pack Burning Shadows and they pulled one Rainbow Charizard. And I think it ended up getting a 9 they showed.
And that was when pull rates were easier. Nowadays, he'd be doing 1,000 and not even pulling the chase, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to
look.
I can call that.
Your YouTube videos are so clickbait; they thrive on drama. All right, I'm not going to show you guys my back end. So me and Fernando and my mods, we were actually talking on a Discord call, and I showed him my back end of YouTube. and I literally went down and showed him, right? The videos with the highest dislike ratio, right, always had the most views. And guess what? Every single one of them was something clickbaity, something market going down, I'm screwed, crash.
And the click-through rates are way higher.
They all have the most views. They all have the worst dislike ratio, and they all do the best. Oh, and they all gain me the most subscribers. And so
people definitely feed on negativity. It's very odd.
if it wasn't encouraged, if it wasn't rewarded, I wouldn't do it. It's rewarded on YouTube for some reason. And then people say they'll say things like, well, we don't want that. It's like, well, then why don't you guys watch the videos where I don't do that? Where are you at? Why aren't you clicking? Why aren't you clicking?
Yep.
Because the truth is, if people would click on the videos that aren't clickbait and they click on the videos that weren't drama related, nobody would be incentivized to make those kind of videos, and they would die off.
Rudy does it too. He literally takes a TCG player chart and just turns it around.
I love it.
He gets more clicks.
And he says 10 minutes into his video, he says like, yeah, I named the title this because I knew it would get way more clicks. And it's like the end of the Pokemon bull run or whatever. And he's talking about like how he's fairly bullish on it. He's like, but like that's mainstream media does that too. Mainstream media, you need to elicit an emotional reaction, and then people will go in. They'll go in like all heated, all fired up, like I can't believe he said this. I need to hear what he says in his video. But if you say like breaking down my Pokemon business sales, July of 2025, like you're not going to get as many clicks as like, is the Pokemon market headed to 0? Is the Pokemon market going to 10x? Like you're asking a question. You're not saying it's going to do something, but it works.
Bunny goes hop. How do y'all feel about Gundam space long term? Have you guys ripped any Gundam?
I know nothing about Gundam.
Neither do I. Dude,
I can't keep it in stock. Every time I list Gundam for sale, it literally sells out on stream like almost immediately. And here's the kicker: the boxes are for the first set that just released are $250.
How many packs? 24, right? So over $10 a pack.
They're more than Pokemon. They're selling. Dude, I've come to the conclusion. The Pokemon hobby is out of their mind. Gundam, a brand new TCG, which I get it's a popular IP, nowhere near as popular as Pokemon. No one complains. Magic the Gathering, collector packs, $130. No one complains, right? You can go down the list. No one complains. You get to Pokemon, I'm not paying more than MSRP. Well, then how are all these other TCGs beating? It's like, it's the weirdest thing we have that like all these other TCGs are booming, but people think it's weird that Pokemon's booming as well. It's strange.
I think that's a great example of like the vacuum that we are in when our very small, like very far down the rabbit hole space on YouTube, because people are obviously willing to pay $10 back in Pokemon. They do it all the time. Yep. We just happen to see a lot of the negativity. You guys will see that, every day. So it feels like you're getting bombarded and people aren't willing to pay it, but we all know they're willing to pay it. I think it's just stepping back and saying like, well, I'm very entrenched in Pokemon, so it may feel that way, but the data, like, you had a great stream last night, Alex. Like we know they're willing to buy it. They may just bitch about it, but they're going to buy it.
I will say, man, Gundam though, it's not One Piece, right? But it feels similar. It's not going to be as big, I don't think, but it feels like it's going to have some legs. It feels better than Star Wars. It feels better than, Dragon Ball Super. It feels like it's more sought after than some of the other games. I don't think it's going to be, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a crazy one, but I mean, it seems like it's going to do all right.
And is Gundam, like I'm vaguely familiar. It's like Transformer looking dudes, like robotic something.
You didn't watch Gundam as a kid?
No, there's like an anime.
It was on like Toonami with like, all the shows. It was like Gundam Wing or Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah, I never watched Gundam personally. Yeah. I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh either. I was Pokemon or bust.
Okay. Yeah, so it was just another cartoon that was on like a Toonami type thing with Dragon Ball Z and the rest of those kind of shows. Just like kind of like a Transformer type action cartoon. I mean, apparently it's really big, like I said, worldwide. I don't know like where it stacks up with like the other IPs, but I don't know, man. We're gonna see how. I know this set's doing really well. And also, Bandai's kind of surprised us all that they haven't completely destroyed One Piece.
Are you putting any back? Because I know early on you put some One Piece back, and I think at this point you sold pretty much most of what you had, right?
Dude, yeah. When the blue bottoms went to 1,000, I had to like.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I bought it as kind of like a flyer. It's like a guess speculation. And when they spiked as much as they did, like I think I sold my even my Paramount Wars for like 4 or something at the time. I don't know what it's going for now, but it's like they all ran up so much so fast that I'm just like, I don't know enough about this to like be confident enough to hold it like I do Pokemon. You know, I took, and I was early on in my business, and I quit my job. I needed the gains, and so I took it and just put it back in the business. Now, if it was like how I'm doing now, I probably would have stuck a case away at least of each.
So are you setting some Gundam back then?
I haven't put any Gundam because the boxes, dude, I was too late. I mean, by the time I was buying it, it was like already 200 a box. Then it went to 225, then it went to 250. And it's like, well, I mean, I'd like to put some away, but not at 250.
And they just fly at good margin, right?
Yeah. So I buy them for streams, but I put one on my shelf, like one box, but no, I haven't like moved into them. Steve, have you heard anything about it?
One Piece?
Gundam.
No, not Gundam.
You can go One Piece.
And really not much One Piece either. Just when it first came out, the hype around it, but I didn't participate. But yeah, I just don't know. It would be it'd be like, I'd rather just go buy a shit coin, I think, at that point. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
And that's the thing. Like, I knew nothing about One Piece, but around OP04 or so, I had it through my distro accessible. Sadly, I didn't buy the original stuff. I didn't buy OP01 through 03. But it's not brick and mortar exclusive. It's not like you don't have to be an LGS. So I started buying it. I get allocations of like 1 or 2 cases of every OP set, and I just sell them. I just sell them on consignment pretty much. I don't know anything about it. I never have watched the anime. Probably never will. I think there's over 1,000 episodes at this point. But I'm just making the free money while it's there, and at some point maybe it'll burn me, but it'll be less than all the gains that I've made so far. So I'll just stop once it burns me, I guess.
I'll tell you what I might dabble in, though. I just started playing League of Legends probably 3 months ago, and it's
I was going to bring that up.
Oh, my gosh. League of Legends, I've never played it, but I've always loved, like, PvP. So RuneScape days, loved the Wilderness. World of Warcraft, loved arenas and battlegrounds. League of Legends is strictly PvP, and it is the most toxic, competitive environment I've ever seen in a video game. It's very, very fun, but also, like, you will literally ruin your day if it goes the wrong way. So I am pretty interested in Riftbound. I will probably speculate into that.
Dude, that's so funny, man.
I don't have access to Riftbound through distro. It's LGS, but I've had a lot of people ask me if I could get them Riftbound, so it's probably going to stonk.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, all I know is I got this guy at a local card shop that's close to me, and dude, it's like he just knows. Like he did the same thing with. He told me to buy One Piece when it came out, Blue Bottom. Like just get some of this. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I've never heard of One Piece. He explained it to me. Told me like this is gonna be big. Sure enough, like Gundam, same thing when it came out. Said the same exact thing. I'm like, hey, I remember Gundam, but like really, there's so many TCGs right now. Sure enough, Gundam 250 a box. It's just like I don't know. They have their freaking hand on the market. I don't know how they know all these new games are going to be explode when they are, but it's like every time they tell me about one and tell me to buy it, it seems to happen. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Crazy how much is booming right now.
Oh man, and you're not, Dan. You haven't taken any like profits on your investments. You're just rolling your business.
So every year I do take like 80K out. I take 80K out to fill my 401k IRAs. But other than that, which I'm not going to say exactly how much I'm making now, but I'm making significantly more than that.
Well, you
every
say
other penny is rolling into cardboard.
But 80K as in like business, not like you're selling off your like sealed stuff.
Oh no, like through just the business operations, and I don't just do the live stream. I don't just invest in my pallets. Right. I have like a consignment operation. I have other stuff that I do. I make some grading plays from time to time still that reward me well. But like some amount of the money that's cast off by the business, the first dollars go into the 401ks, IRAs. Every other penny though, because like my wife's salary covers our household expenses pretty much. Every other penny goes back into more cardboard.
I wanted to ask you about that too. Like I think me and Steve talked about it. Like he was asking me, like, do you do the buckets like Dan? And I was like, well, I think me and Dan have different like goals. Like, do you just plan on working until you're like, I guess, retirement age?
I think I'll always do something productive. I don't know what it'll look like exactly, but when I started my job as an engineer, the meme, I knew I wasn't going to work that for 40 years. I didn't know what I was going to do exactly, but I knew I was not going to work that for 40 years. I always saved aggressively in my 401ks and IRAs, and I was maxing that out at the time that I left. So even without Pokemon doing what it did, I was on pace to early retire like in my 40s. Now Pokemon just moved it up to where like, but I had this conversation with like Rusty at various points. Rusty, TCA Gaming, I was just at his house in Charlotte. Rusty could sell it all and have many multiples of all the money he'll ever need for the rest of his life. I'm really close to that point too. It would be painful paying the 50% tax rates with federal and with state and with FICA and all that. But
well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, do you plan on having like money outside of retirement accounts to live off of if you choose like to not work for 15 years before that you can actually have access to those funds?
That's one thing that I've not done yet. But if the market does stay hot through the 30th, like a lot of people think it will, there's a solid chance that I take a chunk out for the first time ever. Like 5 years ago in 2020, I took a chunk out to pay off my house. I paid like 160 grand to pay off my house. So that money I took out, the way that it works, you have to take out like 250 grand to pay 160 grand after you pay taxes and everything, right? So I haven't done it since the house, aside from for the buckets. And nice thing about filling the buckets, I don't have to, like when I had to pay off $160,000 of my mortgage, I had to take out 250 to do that because I had to have 250 in income to pay taxes on it to get after taxes 160 pay off my house. When I fill my buckets for 80K a year, that's all traditional IRAs, that's all traditional 401ks. So I take out 80 to get 80. I don't have to take out extra because there's no tax implications there, which is great. But next year, if things keep going the way that they're going, I might take out like 100 grand, maybe a little over 100 grand, and I might just plop it into like after my 401ks, after my IRAs, into a brokerage account. I've not done it yet, but I'm getting to where I might. And just to talk on the whole like early retirement thing, you don't have to either if you don't want to. Like I don't ever envision me being on a golf course every day, all day, me being on a beach all day, every day. I think I'll always do something. I think I'll work 5-10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, doing the consignments, doing some buying, selling, doing some like more passive things. None of it's passive, but like I truly don't ever envision a full retirement where I'll do nothing productive and make some kind of money. So they call it like coast fire. Once you get enough money saved up in accounts where you don't have to add another penny and you'll have enough at retirement, and then you just like you just go paycheck to paycheck
everyday bills,
like like I'd only have to make, between me and my wife, we'd have to make 60K a year. We'd have to make $5 grand a month for the next 40 years or 30 years to get us to the
well, not even probably, right? Because once your kids move out,
if you get deep into finance, there's a lot of ways to access retirement money early. I won't turn this into that, but I've had long rants and rambles on that. There's a lot of ways to get money out early from retirement accounts.
Gotcha. What about you, Steve? Is that pretty much similar? Do you keep most of your money in retirement accounts, or do you like plan on having anything outside?
No, I take, my wife and I both, we take full advantage of matches. So, we get our 6% guaranteed match. So the market could go down 50%. There we are. But yeah, we take the company match, and then we max out our Roths. But I don't max out an individual 401k or IRA. I'm more in the camp with you, Alex, where I'm like, I do want access to that liquidity. If like a real estate opportunity comes up, I'd like to have access to that. If I just need liquidity for some other opportunity, I like to have access to that. So not playing the super tax advantage game, but I'm also not at the level where it makes sense to really focus on the tax savings, I don't think. So I'd imagine that does transition at some point, but I'm not at that level.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, to some extent, I think everyone has buckets, whether they're aware of it or not. Some people just prioritize different things. And for anyone uninitiated, I have this like financial order of operations. It's like
uninitiated.
But like, if you follow the Money Guys on YouTube, they have the financial order of operations. If you follow Dave Ramsey, he has the baby steps. I stole this from Reddit, the personal finance Reddit. It's like
rock solid place to get info, by the way.
It's food and it's shelter. It's things that everyone needs. Then it's an emergency fund. Then it's employer match. So it's like some people do Pokemon before they do anything, and I think that's insane. I think that's obscene. Some people like my former company. If you put 1% into your 401k, they would match it 100%. So 1 would turn into 2. They'd also give you profit sharing. So 1% for the 10 years I was there, on average, 5x'd I got on average like 6% of my salary. So they added 5% onto my 1%. And you know how many people weren't in my 401k at my former employer? What percentage of people didn't take a free 5x on your money? What percent do you think? 1,000 employee company. I talked to HR. I know the number.
I'll say
Oh
50.
wow. Yeah, I would say at least half because I know a lot of people in my company don't
But
either.
I feel, see, that's what I would think, but I
Or
feel like the way he's acting, it's got to be more. I'm going to say 65%.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I would have had a hard time if it was that. It was 30% though. So 300 people at this 1,000 employee company. And some of these people, I sat at the lunch table with them and they were talking about shit coins and they were talking about, I literally sat at the lunch table with people who were talking about investing in Vivid Voltage. I'm not even joking. Like I was there during the pandemic, during the boom. This was shortly before I left. But I was talking with people that I knew were not putting a penny into their 401k. Not like I tried telling them, it's like financial advice. Put 1% of your salary in, get 5x your money guaranteed, withdraw early, pay the taxes, pay the penalties. Who cares? Like you're going to come out ahead. And these people were shunning that because it was too risky, because they didn't understand it. Like that pains me inside.
That's
when people,
dude, when people say that, when people say there's a penalty if I pull out, I'm like, the company's matching you. It far outweighs
pay all the penalties. Yeah, like
pull it out tomorrow. Like, what do you mean?
And there are, to be fair, there are like vesting schedules. You have to wait a certain amount of years, but like still, all that nuance aside, like that's what hurts my brain. That some people were so confident, and I'm telling you, there were YouTubers the same confidence. And I know Destined Rivals is not Vivid Voltage, and I know Surging is not Vivid. Blah blah blah. But like there are people that were confidently saying 5 years ago that Vivid at 200 was a good buy, and I think Destined at 250 at 300 is a better buy than Vivid at 200 was, but I don't think it's a good one. I don't think it's a good one at all. And some of those people, literally some of my old coworkers were watching those YouTube videos, buying $200 Vivid Voltage instead of taking a 5x on their money in their 401k.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you make $50K a year, 1% of that's $500. You could turn $500 into $3,000 guaranteed. And they don't do that. And they buy Vivid Voltage for 200. What are we doing?
What?
That's insane.
Pokey Squid wanted me to take this. Sorry for the delay, man. Do you think I should trade 2 of my 151 bundle sealed display cases for 1 Evolving Skies booster box? What product do you think will do better long-term? Advice, please. Dude, if you would have asked me this 6 months ago, I probably would have said 151. Seeing what just happened with Phantom Forces, Flashfire, Team Up, I don't even know anymore. Dude, if Evolving Skies catches fire, it could go to 10K a box. I mean, I truly believe that. It's insane. I think I did a video where I said there's no ceilings anymore. There's no ceilings to Pokemon. I would have never guessed a Phantom Forces full art Gengar would go for $15,000. Z&G said confirmed paid on his auction. I don't know. Chinese Gengars, brand new card going for $17,000 in a black label. I think you'll have time to buy more 151 displays. Maybe you'll have more time for Evolving Skies. If I was getting this hobby and wanted to hold like a product right now, I think I would want one Evolving Skies box to hold. It could see some astronomical numbers in the future. I don't know. I think that. I don't know. Everyone said Umbreon shouldn't be worth what it is because the pop report's, 20,000. Like it's still a $3,000 card already. I don't.
And this card.
What is that?
What's the population on those now? What are we, 30,000?
Over 40,000 PSA 10s, I believe. And maybe close to 40,000. And it's like $1,200. Every one of these I saw, and I saw a ton of them at CollectiCon, were either $1,100 or $1,200.
Everybody else wants to know what Alice got wrong. That right there.
Me too. And I bought some. Like I bought some. I thought they were going to go sub 50, and I was planning on buying a lot of them. But then it's like when they were 100, I paid $120 a piece or so for splitting that case with my buddy John. I didn't think it was going to 3x like it did. We made a stupid amount of money, and we would have made more if we just sat on it. If we just sat on them sealed, if we sat on them and did nothing, we would have made more money. It's crazy.
See, that's crazy.
I had the same. Go ahead.
I had the same thing with Obsidian Flames ETBs. I was buying them at distribution pricing for $254. I had told Alex, I was like, dude, I bought like 30 to 40 cases so far. I'm telling you, this play is just amazing. The Charmander sells for $200 in a PSA 10. And then like a month, 2 months goes by, and it's like you would have made the same amount of money just sitting in the sealed product. And I did so much work. I broke down so much product and sold off so many Obsidian Flames packs before it was easy to offload them. It's kind of funny how that works.
Unfortunately, if you're running a business, you need the cash flow. But like, yeah, hindsight 2020, like, dude, a lot of this stuff would have been better off just sitting instead of flipping. It's crazy.
Yeah, the grading has definitely become much more difficult to do. Grading in general, I mean, not just with increased cost to grade and lead times, but there are the inefficiencies of this market are slowly being squeezed out. There are people that have people on payroll that just grade cards.
Unless you got deals worked with the Cabal grading company.
I've got a pretty solid setup with CGC Fanatics for sure.
Yeah, I've got a shoebox so that I need to get over to you pretty soon.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, other than that, are you grading as much as you used to, or is that kind of went down?
I haven't graded.
I'm grading the most. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not grading, but I'm not doing like what Dan's doing, obviously. I mean, I have 4 of these full that are ready to be graded. So probably 800 cards in my inventory that are PSA 10 candidates. And I'm just waiting on the market conditions to change. And fortunately, I don't need the liquidity anymore. But it would probably be wise to just send all those right now to CGC and then just auction them off and get access to that liquidity. But, I'm really not. I haven't graded. I've graded a few express, like, the highest tier with PSA just to get some really high value cards back. Like this has been a fantastic play.
Can't see it. Blitz Blur.
5th anniversary.
Yeah, but it's a 5th
anniversary Chinese Pikachu.
Yeah, exactly. Like that card, it's worth paying $200 to you back in a week. But really, I'm not doing any bulk submissions.
What do you guys have to say to this?
In person, like CGC is definitely not as liquid, generally speaking. I agree. But live streams eat it up. And this is one thing that I'll say too. Like, I don't know that I want to pump. Some people in chat will be mad at me if I do. I've got like a CGC Fanatics consignment option that I don't talk about that much publicly. We grade quicker than public for cheaper than public. They have to be auctioned on Fanatics though. Big thing is, like, if you comp card for card, CGC 10s on Fanatics versus eBay nets more money. But like, you are doing the submission yourself. You are paying $12 for grading. You're waiting 3 months for grading. With me, it's under 10 a card, significantly under 10 a card. It's under a month, and you're not touching anything. I send stacks of cards in penny sleeves. So I didn't answer my portion of like the grading thing. I'm grading, barring the shutdown, barring me contributing towards the shutdown of PSA at the pandemic. I sent over 10,000 cards in a month. In 1 month, I sent over 10,000 cards when the writing was on the wall that grading card companies were going to slow down and get more expensive.
I would say
I ever have since then.
Like, hold PSA more for value, use CGC for flips.
There's always nuance. It always depends.
Okay.
Like, there are some CGC pristines that you can pick up like at or near PSA 10 prices. Always buy the card. Don't buy the grade. And one thing that I'll say, I think a lot of people do themselves a big disservice. And Alex, you might tread towards this category at times, or at least you have in your history. Some people get so tribal. Some people get so like, I'm a Jets fan. It's Jets or bust. I have to be PSA only. And I think it's a detriment to their business. I'm very like, I don't like any of the companies. PSA sucks, CGC sucks, BGS sucks. They all suck in their own special ways. But what I care about is the extent to which they can make my business money. That's all I see.
What about Tag? Are you using Tag?
I tried it one time, and I have my own. Tag sucks too. I'll say Tag sucks too. They all suck. But like, they don't have much application to my business. Fanatics won't sell Tag, so like, they're just like, if I could make money with them, I would use them. Like, I don't care. I see them as a widget. I see them as like a means to an end of making money for my business.
Outside of the streams, do you think you'd be as successful as CGC though? Or do you think that's really
the streams? I just sell them on Fanatics. I sell them on Fanatics. I sell them on Fanatics, and I make less selling CGC, but I have no touch points. I send raw cards in, and I get money back with PSA. And I do PSA Fanatics a little bit, but I don't have as good of a grading. I don't have any grading discount with PSA through Fanatics. But I grade thousands a month with CGC currently. I grade hundreds a month with PSA currently, and I grade dozens a month with BGS currently. And that's the most, like, aside from during the pandemic, that 1 month, that's the most I've ever done.
Hold on, let me ask you one follow-up question. when you say this, you're talking your consignment service and your deal or whatever. How many of those are your cards though?
So if you look at my filter on average only has like 100, 150 cards a week. They only make my filter on Fanatics if they're estimated over $100.
No, I'm saying like personally, like yours, not like a consigner's or someone who sent them in. Like, are you like sourcing and grading mini cards yourself anymore?
I've sent 1,000 cards this week.
Oh, okay,
this week I've sent 1,000. Yeah, like some weeks it's the variance is high. Some weeks I might have 1,000 cards at auction on my Fanatics, and 20 might be mine. Some weeks I might have 1,500 and 700 are mine. It all just depends on when the things hit. Yeah, the variance is like right now I have 986 live that end this Sunday, and I don't have it like. Well, I can tell you very quickly.
Are those mostly from just like targeted buys, or are they like just collection buyouts you get, or what?
Most of them are like lower value, just like straight churns. Yeah, only like 40. Only like 40 of the 1,000 right now this week are mine. But it varies a lot. Gotcha. Next week I have like 700 going live from one crazy play that I tried making. We'll see how it goes.
Of like one card?
No. It's a lot of different cards, but nothing is passive in this hobby, but this is as close to passive as it gets. I drop shipped basically straight to my vault hundreds of Japanese cards, and I'm getting them graded with CGC, sold on Fanatics, and I'll see how it goes. I'll see if I make money. Maybe I'll lose money though.
Ponga's eyes are like both probably twitching right now.
Sorry, Ponga. Sorry, Spat. Sorry to Grimer.
Why is that? What's up?
They're worried if I talk about it too much, a lot more people will start consigning with us. It is like Fanatics is a smaller platform than eBay. So we are all competing a little bit for the more limited buyer pool. So if too many people came in and started doing the same plays we're making in CGC Fanatics, it would kind of race it to the bottom. So I'm being more selective in who I'm allowing in to do it. And I'm not open. Like if you go to my Instagram, you'll see my standard Fanatics consignment, which I'm happy to take from anyone. This one, but you won't see the super secret. And it's not a paywall thing. It's just like it's a secret selective thing that I only invite certain people.
Morgan said, "Damn, made the biggest D-Gen play of all time."
I'm so curious.
I can't wait to hear how it goes.
I don't think that'll be a video. Transparent Dan will probably not make a video on this play.
All right, well, just let me know.
I'll let you know.
Bunny goes hop, dude. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Modern versus vintage debate. Oh, geez. If the modern card market collapses, I believe vintage will retain its value better due to scarcity and true collectors still wanting them. Oh, dude, you use so many buzzwords. The vintage debate, the true collectors. I like this one.
Look, hold on. Before Alex goes, we already know what Alex is going to say, but I have a PSA 9 first edition Lugia and a BGS 9 first edition Lugia. At the peak, those were $15,000 cards. Those are both listed on my eBay for $5,000. Even though vintage is booming, like I can't offload a card that previously sold for 15 grand 3 years ago and for a third of that price. So, I mean, my experience with it has not been now if you were in the right card, sure. But I just think it's so fickle. You could be right, you could be wrong. But
Bunny, here's what I'll say, dude. You can't judge you can't make these judgments in a bull market. What I'll say is 2022, 2023, when everything kind of came down and deflated, modern was still much more liquid than vintage. And you could say they were both relatively similar liquidities in the bull run. But I just think, dude, I think there's a lot of people who really enjoy the modern art. I think it's got so many more eyes on it. It's what Pokemon puts all their marketing into, all the games, like all the new Pokemon. In my opinion, I would rather have money still in modern. And I'm not talking about brand new black and white Destin Rivals. I would still rather be putting money into early Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, stuff like that, than I would into vintage stuff right now. Here's the thing, like Steve said, the debate that it's safer is a figment of people's imagination, because when we've boomed vintage or boomed and bust, vintage came down worse overall than modern did, both in sealed products and slabs. And so it's like, I don't know where the data is that shows me vintage is safer. That's why I can't get on the board with the vintage. Can't do it.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'll preface my answer too with like, I don't spec in slabs, so I don't have significant holdings in like one holding that I do have.
There it
Best
is.
artwork in the hobby.
You
I
couldn't even
hope
get
to never
yourself a
sell
10.
it. No, I mean, I don't value PSA's opinion that highly. I've owned worse 10s than this 9, and I've owned 8s that were cleaner. Like I think their inconsistency is just, I don't value their opinion as much as the market does. But overall, I don't spec in either. I like modern sealed more than anything. So that's where I'm putting all my speculative long-term money. But it always depends. Like certain cards, gold stars, cards like this are doing better than some other cards. And I just don't really play the game. I truly own this like as a collector. I'm consuming this card as a collector. I'm not specking, investing in it. What it does in the future, I have no idea. But vintage good, modern good, Pokemon good. I'm not like tribal about you have to buy this, you have to buy that. All this other stuff sucks. The same way I'm not with grading card companies. It's like I'm open to using whatever, buying whatever I think will suit me best. And that's everyone has different goals. Everyone is doing different things. Are you consuming? Are you collecting? Are you investing? Are you speculating? There's good things to do in both. I promise.
Yeah, you guys know. I mean, hey, like Steve said, he knew it. He knew what I was gonna say. I mean, I said it 4 years ago, and it turned out very well. I'll say it again, and I think in 4 more years it'll continue to play out very well. I think you will do infinitely better putting your money into modern sealed product than you will any kind of vintage place.
What's modern though?
You know what's really funny though, dude? Here's what's funny. Like people really have a hard time understanding margins. Somebody literally said it was some gold. It was in my comments. You could probably find it. It was some gold star card. They're like, Alex, you're really gonna say this card went to $60,000 and that's better than this? They gave some modern box like a modern card, and I literally in their comment, judging by their numbers they gave, I did the math. I go, so you're telling me the gold star 4x'd, but the modern card or the modern box you just gave me 5.5x'd, and you're asking me which one I would rather be in. So I think people get like mesmerized by the big numbers of vintage, where they don't realize if you put those same big numbers of dollars into multiple quantities of modern, you'd still be better off. Like that's my whole thing.
They're looking at the flashy, like absolute dollar amount, but not the
60 grand. The modern
ROI.
thing's only worth $5,000. It's like, well, why didn't you buy 60 or that much grand worth of the modern when it was $1,000? It's like, what are we doing here?
Dan, what was the card you showed when I stepped out?
Oh, it's my favorite art in the hobby, the Shining Gyarados from Neo Revolution. I don't know exactly what this is at, but I want to say I put it back in my collection. I had it on eBay for like $1,600 and it wasn't selling. I think I delisted it at about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. I think it's more than doubled, which like relative to gold stars, relative to megas, relative to something like this. This is Japanese, not English, but relative to this, like this crushed it. This is 5x, 10x in the same time that card doubled. But this is not an investment play. This is truly like Collector Dan. Collector Dan is down deep inside somewhere still.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What if they would have blown that card up, kind of like they did the base set Pikachu in Celebrations, and made that an alt art with alt art pull rates? Do you think that alt art would have performed better?
I'm betting the farm. I'm going all in.
But you see what I'm saying? I think people would rather have the full art, like cool version than the old card, even though it's more rare and more scarce and all that, or the pop report's lower.
Yeah, it's crazy. I lean more towards like 20, 30 years from now. I think a lot of these pop doesn't matter. Demand is the only thing that matters. I think a lot of those people are going to have a rude awakening. And I could be wrong. And be mindful that I have no money on the line over this. But I think some of the people buying base set first edition, I think some of the people buying like the rookie cards, the first shining in the hobby, I think those will age better over the decades than a lot of the 10K, 20K, 30K pop stuff. I could be wrong, but again, let's do this again. If I had to put 10 grand in this or 10 grand in this, I'm putting in that all day long.
Yeah. What do you think about the market? What do you think? What do you both of you guys think about? This is something I've touched on, and I'd like to hear you guys' perspectives. What do you guys think about the market? Like, and this has been the same. I've followed it for years now. The fact that only like 1% to 2% of most cards like are ever on the market in current time from PSA. Like if there's 10,000 graded, you might find like 100 or 200 on the market. And it's kind of always remains true in bull or bear market. Bear markets, it's maybe a little more. It's like, so what do you think about the fact that like, even though the pop reports are extremely high, you can still find like 0.something% of the cards ever on the market at any given time?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Like Umbreon's got almost what 20K, but only has like less than 100 on the market. Like that, there's got to be something for. I understand pop's high, but the scarcity is still so low.
Or do you want to go first, Steve?
I really don't know. I'd have to think about that. I don't know how that affects it. I mean, I think if the price goes, if you 5x the price, you'll probably see 10% of those cars on the market all of a sudden.
But we have though, right? Like Umbreon's went from 400 to 3,000. It's like it's like there's less available now than there were.
Yeah, I don't know if I really have a good answer for that. It's a good thought.
And I need to think of how I want to say all this. There's a lot I want to say here. If you look at like sports, the big dog, if you look at where like the market cap of the 1986 Fleer Jordan is like multiples of what almost all of Pokemon is, or at least it was a few years ago. I don't know what the current data is. But in sports, like if Pokemon gets there and you have billionaires in the hobby in 20, 30, 40 years going after like whatever they're going after, if any of them decides they want this, if any of them decides they want this, if any of them decides they want the Moonbreon, I truly believe 0.5% to 1% of the Moonbreon, 0.5% to 1% of these cards will always be available on eBay. I'm not talking today, tomorrow, next week. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 years from now. There will always be 100 of this card on eBay. I might be wrong with that, but one thing that's happening right now, like I was on ground floor in Charlotte, there were some gold stars around, and I'm not going to throw out numbers that weren't mine to throw out, but like Torchic Gold Star, what are there, 35 of them, 40 of them? You can't just go buy it. If you want it, and if you're Logan Paul, if you're Steve Aoki, if you're Warren Buffett, and you just decide you want to swing your big wallet around, we'll say, if you want to swing around your big wallet, you can offer double last sold, and sometimes they come out. I heard on the ground floor, I heard numbers that were supposedly being offered for Rayquaza Gold Star, for Torchic Gold Star, for Latios Gold Star PSA 10. And that's one thing that Vintage does have and will always have against these ultra modern things is like, if we get into a thing, like if you want a PSA 10 Gretzky rookie, there's like 2 of them or something. Pokemon's not quite to that level, but these things are like truly, if and when Pokemon is a thing 30 years from now, these things, the market caps might be higher, but like where the numbers will really move, in my opinion, at least, is on the lower pop vintage. And look at comic books, look at sports cards, look at everything in the history of forever. Look at coins, look at paper currency. It's always the oldest original. And mind you, I have zero money. I have zero money on the line.
Wait, all the serialized cards have all taken over sports, other than baseball.
But
I think that's going to age poorly. It's actively aging poorly, and I think it's going to age very poorly. I maybe that's a hot take, but like all this sports card madness that goes on, you already have 3 years ago, 4 years ago, people paying numbers for Joe Burrow rookies, and he's already made like the conference finals like twice, right? He made it in the Super Bowl once. Weren't the Bengals in the Super Bowl? I'm not a good NFL fan, but anyways, I think, and this might be crazy too, I think the Chocobos, I think the One Rings, the serialized, I think all this stuff is going to be looked at 30 years in the future as pure lunacy.
You think the One Ring, really?
Yes. I think all of this will be looked back at pure lunacy. I think
going back to your statement though, right? Like the billionaire thing, right? It's a One Ring. Like if people keep, I mean, only one person can have it. You know how it is. Rich people want exclusive things. I don't know, man. I think they'll always be competed after.
That is the one of one ring from the 2020, whatever it was. They could make a new Magic Lord of the Rings set. They could make one of one rings as many as they want. That's the thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady was older, but I've heard the numbers before that like when some of the big like Skeens is the big guy in the major leagues right now. I think Major League Baseball. These guys have like 500 one of ones in certain sets. National Treasures is better than this, is better than that. Panini, Donruss, Fleer. I know in Pokemon we don't have all that, but I just think these things are going to age poorly. I think there's a lot of like crazy things going on in the markets right now. I think there's a lot of irrational exuberance, to use a phrase I did not coin, but I might be wrong. Maybe the music can go on for way longer than I think, but I think there's a lot of like, I'm sounding like Sean from Reserved Investments right now, but I truly think he's right on some of it. I think decades, not years, not months. I think decades back, some stuff that Sean is being picked on for saying now.
But kind of going back to what we said earlier, at what
many
point
times will he be?
Well, at what point are you wrong long enough to where things have ran so far that even if it comes down, you're still wrong type thing?
And that's why I'm transacting in it today. Like, I don't care. I don't care where singles go. I don't care what this does in 30 years. I think if you buy this today at $1,000 as an investment, I think in 30 years, you would have been way better off in sealed modern product. That's where I'm putting money. I think you would have been better off in Bitcoin. I think you would have been better off in the S&P 500. Why do I say those things? I'm not saying it to shit on this. I'm like, I have my money there because I think it's going to serve me best. And I could be wrong. This could be $10,000. This could be $50,000 in 30 years. I would bet a lot of money, and I'm actively betting a lot of money, though, that it won't be. So it's like I put my money in things I think will go up. I take my money out of things I think will go down, and place your bets. Like, I don't get emotional when somebody – one thing that scares me is like how emotional some people get when people say something counter to their own thoughts. It's like – it's scary. If someone online can say something counter to what you think, and like you get mad and you get like fearful about them being right potentially. The implications of me being wrong is like, if I'm wrong on Destined not going back under MSRP, I'm in a decent spot. If I'm wrong about, if this becomes a good ROI over the next 30 years, I'm doing well. I promise. Because like, I'm buying the next one of this, 1,000 of them, and grading them all and flipping them all. Like, that's my rant.
You know what's fun? Making a video and coming out with like a definitive like position, and you can see in the comments who owns that position and who doesn't. Because if you come out and say like it's great, everyone who owns it's going to agree, and everyone who doesn't own it's going to be like, no, it's bull crap. Or if you come out and say you should sell something, everyone in the comments who owns it's going to be like, terrible take, you're wrong. It's actually really fun. You can kind of see where everyone's at.
Yeah, I know this is not one for one. I'm not trying to draw it one for one, but I do think that I am probably 90% aligned with everything Dan just said. And I think you look at like my grandma was big into silverware, like actual silver, china, and some other plates and shit that I don't know the names of, but were very popular. And it was a status thing back in the day, and it was collectible. And it's like very important to her. And she wants my wife to have all of it. And we literally just have it in boxes. And we're like, we're never going to use this.
You don't have a china cabinet?
There's going to come a time where we probably get rid of this, but we'll wait until, it's appropriate. And again, I understand it's not one for one, but what was important and collectible to 3 or 4 generations ago, we have no value to it. We assign no value to it. It's actually just, it's literally worthless. But that was like very, very prized, and something that like these older ladies, like our grandma's age, view as heirlooms. And like our wives probably view it as shit and clutter. And
it is
I think there's a reality over a long enough period of time where like shoe boxes full of plastic card cases covering up pieces of plastic with Pikachus and hats probably isn't like 50 years is a long time. But over the next 10 years, oh my gosh, I'm going so hard as well. Like I'm gonna make money over the next while I can. But
isn't it funny how stupid you can make things sound when you say it like a certain way? Like when I talk about the sealed products, like if there's one thing I'm sure of,
$4,500.
Yeah, dude, that's like I could literally go buy a performance race bike that I could take on a track, like a very fine-tuned machine that can go 200 miles an hour, or I could buy this Pikachu. And it's like when you take a step back, it's like it is kind of crazy that the numbers that we throw around very casually here.
Lunacy, it all
dude,
is.
Think about when you take like a sealed Pokemon pack. You know how to make that worth more? You wrap it in more cardboard and more plastic. But then if you wrap that in more cardboard and more plastic, lights out. Then if you put a piece of tape over the box that says stop on it, to the moon, baby. Like that's where we're at. But hey, we're all playing the same game, so we keep playing.
Yeah. I mean, limited edition graded guards go for hundreds of dollars. Like
dude, what's up with that market? Tell me. Explain it to me.
2 cents of ABS plastic or whatever it is. Like I don't engage in it whatsoever. I actually have an affiliate link. You use code KAC5 or KAC10 when you're buying your graded guard. You'll get a couple % off. But just because I'm saying I think all these things are overvalued, like this could be a $50,000 card. The full art could be a $100,000 card. I just don't think it will be. Like,
do you remember SM Pratt's old videos when that card came out, and he just had like stacks behind him all over his dress, his grandma house dresser?
The lore that for this card specifically, I say and have said that I'll never sell this card. It was a gift. I used to be in the E4 Secret Santa, the forum that you got kicked off of and couldn't participate in the Secret Santa, unfortunately. But I got this as a Secret Santa gift. The max value for a gift back then was $50. This was a $35 PSA 10 back when I got it as a gift. So is this. I looked this up on alt because I didn't know what it was worth. I knew the English ones like $8,000 or $10,000 or whatever the hell it is. I looked it up on alt a couple minutes ago while we're sitting here. This is a $2,400 card. I got this as a Secret Santa gift 10 years ago when it was like $40. And I've always said that I'll never sell gifts, but I'm set. Like these are two of the several from years ago.
Hey, just reach out to the person and be like, hey, look, do you mind?
I'm going to send them $500 and say like,
wait, I'm going to buy my daughter's first car with this.
Tell you what, I'll buy you something with the money and send you something back of double the value of what it was when you sent me. How's that sound?
Yeah.
This card too. Shout out to he calls himself SM Black. This is not me him calling him that. He calls himself
I made
SM
a big
Black.
play on that at one point.
He gave me this like out of Worlds. He gave like a table full of people, like a couple different slabs, and this Battle Festa Magikarp is like $1,800 now. He gave it to me when it was worth $25, when it was worth like nothing. And it's pop 231. It's a 2016.
Oh, I know. I graded some of those.
It's what a world we live in. I don't know. And maybe I'm painted as a bear sometimes when it comes to Pokemon in general and sealed in general, even though I have 100,000 packs and I have pallets and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that before the end. Why?
I'm truly a bear in plastic, though. I'm truly a plastic bear.
Why are you so... And I tell everyone this. I tell them this when they message me and asking about you. And I say, I wouldn't say anything bad about Dan ever, because I would say that's right to his face. Now, I just want to know why. Why are you seen to be so publicly bearish, but so privately bullish on Pokemon?
It's wild to me.
You're
like,
probably the bullish person I know, by the way. But publicly, you seem so bearish.
That's the thing that blows my mind is I don't know. I will say in the same sentence, I will say like what I think is just a fact. I will make a statement of fact in that 151 loose packs are 10 right now, 10 or 11, whatever they are. They could go to 5 in the next year. I don't think they will, but they could. Me saying that Destin could go to MSRP, people call me a bear. Meanwhile, in the next breath, I say 151 could be a $20 pack by December. Both of those are true, and I know that they're both true. And this is kind of like a meme, but like when you invest in something, worst case scenario is you lose 100%, as long as you're not doing it on margin. So it's like worst case is 100%. I'm actually going to make this video very soon. It's like the upside is 1,000x. The upside is like so many multiples that as long as you're doing semi-reasonable things, I think it's fairly easy to do like plus EV decisions over time. But why I get called a bear so much, I have no clue. I truly am bullish on the S&P 500 tax advantage. Like I think when I put 80 grand this year into the S&P 500 and equivalent, I think that will outperform everything I'm doing in Pokemon over the next 50 years.
You can't really
I might be wrong. I truly believe that. I believe we're in some kind of a mania. Maybe they'll go on another 5, 10, 20 years. Like, and maybe I'll be wrong, but if I'm wrong, like I'm doing fine because I'm doing the pals too. But one thing I'm doing like for my kids is my kids work for my business to some extent. Rusty actually just made a great video talking about how he like employed his kids to go around and like buy 151 Charizards. I think they're at like $750, $800. He told his daughter, and go watch the video, TCA Gaming. It's crazy to me how many people don't know who Rusty is in today's market, but Rusty is a legend. He's been around way longer than me, and I've been around 11 years. But he told his daughters, like, hey, go buy these for $800. Every dollar you spend below 800, I will give you, like, basically he'll pay 800 to them. So they bought some for $750. His like 10, 11-year-old daughter made $50, like buying a Charizard for $750, flipping it to dad for $800. And like, I don't know what he's doing with that. I don't know if he's doing Roth IRAs and all that, but I'm putting a lot of money a month into Roth IRAs for my kids. And I know people that are buying boxes, buying cases for their kids. I truly think my few $1,000s a year in Roth IRAs for my kids will outcompete whatever you're putting it into Pokemon, whether you're putting it into this or the gray felt hat or sealed or whatever. Like, and I might be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. Many people though are not like there was a guy a couple minutes ago. Destin will never go under MSRP, guaranteed. That guy's not open to being wrong. That guy is delusional. He might be right though.
But the G
Just
word put it over
he's
the top.
delusional. I had this rant 2 nights ago on my own live stream. Just because he's delusional doesn't mean he won't make money. You can go to any roulette table in the world tonight, and you will find somebody standing at the roulette table that has a system, and none of them do mathematically guaranteed they're going to lose money over the long term. Some of them over the short term will make lots of money, and they'll think their system's working. And long term, though, decades, those people end up showing themselves. Those people end up what's Munger say? When the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked, something like that. A lot of people are swimming naked right now, and we might not find out for 6 months or 5 years or over their lifetime, though. We'll find out they've been swimming naked, taking more risk. But to be fair, too, like you say this on your channel, diversification is for idiots. Diversification is for retaining wealth. Not diversifying is for creating wealth. Some people, survivorship bias. The biggest wealth will be created with 100% concentration and risk and leverage. That doesn't make it a good idea for the vast majority of people. Because for every Zuckerberg, for every Bill Gates, for every like one of those people that it panned out, there are tens of thousands of people who got washed, who got rinsed, who lost it all.
However, like to Alex, I've heard you say this before, and many other people who are subject matter experts in their given field. I mean, if you have an edge in real estate and you have more than 20% of your portfolio exposed to real estate, well, that probably checks out, right? If you have an edge in Pokemon and over 20% of your net worth is in it, it's like, well, I mean, you have an edge on the market. So that risk reward is actually much smaller, even though just on paper you have like what any of our parents would say, like, it's probably unhealthy. Be like, well, the actual number on paper is not representative of the edge that you have, and you're able to create so much more value from that. So I think that's worth considering too. And anybody who's 3 hours into a stream like this on a Friday afternoon is probably has an edge. Like everybody here probably has some kind of an edge somewhere where it allows you to take more risk on paper. But like, what is the plan? I guess my question to like myself to keep me grounded is like, what's the long-term plan? Is it just a continuation of more cards? It's like, for me, no. But for the next 5 to 10 years, yes, I definitely want to leverage my experience.
Just to loop it back to like an hour and a half ago, whenever it was, like I think I have a big edge in Pokemon. I can't buy Apple stock at 80%. I can't buy gold at 80%. I can buy Pokemon though at 80%, 80, 85%. So I'm acting on my thing. But like, even though I have that advantage, I still take the freebies. I still take the handouts and traditional stuff. Going back to the 30% of my former company that didn't take the 5X because they're like, no, I'm going all in on Pokemon. I'm an expert. And this is because I'm a bear. This is because I'm like too risk averse. I will still max my 401k and IRA. And maybe you won't go that far. Maybe you'll only max your Roth. Maybe you'll only take your employer match. But to shun all of it entirely and saying I'm only 100% Pokemon, that is where you lose me. That is where it blows my mind. Like there are people listening right now. I guarantee 360 people listening. There is at least one person who is nearly all in on cardboard that is not taking a guaranteed double up or more from their employer match. And I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you I did do it. I would do it. I can't believe people don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, this was exactly a financial advice from Catch 'em All Collectibles.
I mean, there was some messages in the Discord in Pokemart's Discord probably a week ago where people were like screenshotting their credit scores, and it was mind blowing because I'm like, these guys are paying over $100 a month to be in here. Like, I guess what do you mean? Like,
as in, like, they were good or bad?
Terrible. Like. And people were like openly sharing things, and it was just kind of surprising to see. Like, okay,
like what, 500s, 600s? What are we talking?
Some were lower than that, but it was all. I mean, I'm serious, but it was concerning because it's like these guys are paying $100+ a month to be here to get access to distribution, but like they probably need to go address some other things first. And I think that's what Dan does a really good job at always kind of preaching, which you would hope people that are this deep don't really have that, but statistically there's certainly some, because we know that 80% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their checking account for an emergency. So statistically, some of you guys are in here, and it's not a good time to spec on Pikachu with hats. But you may get lucky.
Dude, we all usually, and it's always been this way. A lot of us have always agreed, like mostly on everything. Like the little bit that we disagree on always keeps things spicy. It's like the only things I really disagree, like the company match isn't obvious, and the Roth IRA with the tax advantages there. Like the only thing I always kind of disagree with is like after those kind of things are done, it's just like if it was like a non-tax advantage brokerage account, I honestly, like I can seriously say this honestly, no lies, I believe in Pokemon Sealed over a non-tax advantage S&P index fund and a mutual fund, anything.
Me too. Like that's the duality of like, I have it all out there. I lay it all out there. If you listen to everything I've said, I've never said my exact net worth. I've never said like exactly how much I'm making. You could figure it out if you listen to everything closely. Like it's all there.
Yeah, it's obviously like 1.67 million.
Once the buckets are filled, once the tax advantage stuff is filled, all of the rest of it, at least so far, my house is the exception. I paid off my house. And then aside from that, every penny has gone into cardboard. But I might change that. I might change that in the coming years. And as I say, like, I might be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. Like when I put away, it's going to be $300 or $400 a month for the next X amount of years for my kids into Roth IRAs. I'm so much higher confidence level that will pan out the way that it has over the past 100 years. Pokemon is more of a swing though.
Yeah.
Pokemon, I think, could outperform it. I'm very open to outperforming it, but I just feel like that's the confident baseline foundation that I'm going to give them. And then maybe I'll do a case of every set for them too. And maybe that'll crush. Like I hope in 25 years I can make a video saying like pallet number 1 is now worth $17.8 million and my S&P 500 is only worth 300 grand, whatever. Like I don't know.
And Steve will be sharing his crypto saying that's worth $17.8 million. And
well, this is I mean, that's like right in the same thing as well. It's like, do I want to pass on, a shit coin to my children? Do I think it's going to outperform the S&P 500 in 50 years? Is crypto really going to be here in 50 years? Like, no, but I'm willing to speculate. Like I'm willing to play in this market in today's environment. I think it makes sense. The risk reward is high enough to take that chance.
There is no way Alex believes that. If he did, he would have sold every penny from his other assets and put them into Pokemon. Andy, so I will explain why I didn't. One is there's always risk. And 2 is I want to reduce as much risk from me and my wife's life as possible, which is why I made, which a lot of financial experts would tell you is a poor financial decision to pay off my house because you can outperform the interest rate I had in pretty much any other investment. But what they're not telling you is, what if you and your wife both lose your jobs and lose your source of income and you don't have money, right? What if, a million different things can happen, And so I wanted to reduce the risk of having any bills. So that way we could literally both do anything and make small amounts of money if we ever had to just get by and eat and keep the water and the electric on. 2, like I said, I have done that otherwise. Other than, like I said, my wife puts into her 401k, gets her match, and we max out our Roth IRAs. That's pretty much all I've done. I mean, I hold cash. I've said that, but that's because I just want cash for opportunities. Other than that, I have done that. And so, no, I mean, just because I believe what I said doesn't mean I'm going to sell my house or refinance my house, take all my money out and not put any money into 401k and throw it on the Pokemon. That's not the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, a lot of people get like all or nothing. And again, like most of the world's billionaires were all in on that one thing. And I'm perfectly fine never becoming a Poke billionaire. Maybe I'll only ever make tens of millions in Pokemon, and I'll only make tens of millions in the stock market. Like the people that become billionaires, they go all in on some creating their own company, like basically a penny stock, a stock that's not even traded. I'm just never going to do that, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with being only amongst the high single-digit millionaires potentially.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I know you guys probably got stuff to do today. I really appreciate you taking 3 hours out of your day on a Friday to jump on stream.
This was a good one.
Steve,
I appreciate it.
Anything to end with, dude? Shout out where they can find you and where they can buy your stuff, man.
Probably just send me an email. I think the only thing I'd like to get out of this is maybe like card shops or streamers that are interested in getting Chinese product at a fair price. What's the email? It's very professional. Steve T at gmail.com. So yeah, I would say that's it. I mean, my eBay stuff is very consumeristic focused. Again, no one in here is probably interested in that. But if you do want access to Chinese and you run a card shop or run a live stream, I wouldn't mind working with a handful more people, but not really interested in scaling. So at this point, not scaling beyond what I can manage currently today.
Cool.
Business to business is the way to be. It's a lot easier.
What about you, Dan? Where we? Is there anything crazy coming up? Any new content that you got ready for us?
I know everyone is just dying to have it, but I'm gonna make my first MetaZoo video in a while tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Sky will be streaming.
Talk about that at all. Come on, chill your stuff, man. How is MetaZoo doing? If you guys don't know, Dan is actually an investor in MetaZoo. He has owned a portion of the company. So yeah, we haven't talked about that at all. Talk about it.
And I'm so I part own the company that licenses it to GameCube Editor Labs that prints it. So I have no like info on print runs. Like I can't tell you, oh hey, I own the company. Here's our last Q1 or Q2 sales. I have no metrics like that. By feel, it's not Gundam, it's not Pokemon, it is not One Piece. Like it is base set came out at 120 MSRP in March. And you can buy base set boxes for like in the 80s. And Torrential Tides is coming out today. It just launched today. And MSRP of 120, and it's available for like 85-ish a box. So in today's market, it's like fairly calm, fairly
what's like can you like tell what like an average distro price is? Is that like under or over that?
It's in the low 60s.
Okay, so it's still a good amount over distro price.
It's a decent margin for a store. I think Hills actually has, by the box, Hills has some base set for like in the mid 60s. Hills Wholesale Gaming, who for whatever reason doesn't charge sales tax. But they've mostly had it in the 70s. They're a solid deal on that right now. But they sell the case at a premium. I wish we'd get this in Pokemon. If Pokemon could please, if you're out there listening, Pokemon, copy MetaZoo. So what they do is they call it like an alt art box in a booster case. So imagine you buy your 10 cases of Obsidian Flames. I don't know the exact numbers because again, I don't have like insider info, but I've opened 50 cases of base and I've gotten about 5 alt art boxes. Talking anecdotally with other people, it's roughly 1 in 10 cases to get the alt art box. So imagine if every 10th case of Obsidian Flames you opened, you got a special box. So
is it just the art or is there different cards inside? It's just a box.
So it's two things. So it's the art, and then like here's the base set box. It's the regular art with Sun Wukong on it. This is the alt art box with Mothman and stuff. So inside of it, it'll be the same 36 packs, but what you get additionally is you get a 4-card promo pack, like a box topper, and those box toppers are exclusive arts. So like we don't know print runs of MetaZoo, but like say that the print run was 120,000 boxes. I don't think it's that high, but like if it's 1 in 10 cases for the alt art box, that would mean there's only 1,000 each of those exclusive box topper alt arts. That would mean that there's only 120,000 boxes. If it's 1 in 10 cases, that would mean there's only 1,000 of that box. So like, it's really interesting if MetaZoo, and like be warned, MetaZoo went bankrupt before, it could go bankrupt again. Like this is not a guaranteed play by any means, but like if MetaZoo succeeds and their base set has an exclusive variant that's 1 out of 120 boxes, like there's some upside to that, right? And the new set, I've opened 2 boxes so far. I opened 1 case. I'm 0 for 1 on cases so far, but I'm going to open a bunch of them and hopefully get that alt art thing.
Guys,
it's an interesting
Dan is
layer.
not shilling MetaZoo. I asked him to talk about it because he's part owner in the company. So chill out. One thing I do want to say though is I'm interested in this too. What do you mean none of you guys who own the IP know the print runs? It's all like blind data?
So I'm the only one who owns the company that's actively engaging in the buying and selling of it. Basically, like I signed something basically that it's like I am not going to engage in any insider info. Charlie, I'm not going to out every owner of the company, but like Charlie Herlocker, he publicly owns the company. He's the president of Meta2, the company we bought MetaZoo with, and we licensed it to GQL, who has Rick Aarons, and it has Richard Garfield, the guy that was involved with creating Magic. So he's I forget his title with that company, but Charlie is he knows everything, but he's not engaging in buying and selling of it. So since I engage in buying and selling of it, I own part of Meta2 who has nothing to do with printing of Meta2. We license that out. So if and when it makes money, I'll get like royalties. I'll get things down the line, but I've made no money. I have no insight into any of that stuff. So original Metazoo used to share print runs, and we knew that like UFO was 100,000 boxes, and Wilderness was 100,000, and base set was 25,000, I believe. Cryptid Nation first edition. With the new set, we're not getting that information. Part of me kind of wishes it was a thing, but it's just not. It's just not. So yeah, what I used to do with Metazoo, I used to buy a lot of it. I used to buy 500 boxes of every set and do mass rips. So in Pokemon, the singles like very quickly get to where they should be. They very quickly get to like negative EV for most people to rip them. With Metazoo, there's not as many competitors. So I have a good distro price, and I have Skya, that one guy is his handle. He manages my eBay. Next week, he was ripping 10,000 packs, and we're going to do mass singles on eBay. And it worked well for base set. It worked well. I did some grading plays through Fanatics. I sold some singles, but he also streams it too. The streams didn't do that well. Again, it's no Pokemon, but I'm very biased. I'm very, very biased. Know my biases.
No,
I always tell you. But
that's what I'm saying.
I enjoy the product.
I literally asked you to talk about it. Like,
yeah. Like, this is not a pump. I'm not paying Alex for this, but the cards are cool. I think the cards are cool. I know the cryptids aren't for everyone. They created a new rarity tier. This is like a legendary rarity tier. There's like 2 to 3 per case is what it feels like, what it looks like. I was at Rusty's and we opened a couple cases worth probably amongst a bunch of us because they did like a pre-release thing at the convention. Then there's like SRs. You get like 6 to 8 SRs per box. And then there's Altards, which this is my boy. This is Griddle Greaser Pete. He's a pig. He was like he's a pig with bacon skis. How could you not love a pig with bacon skis? So his cryptid lore... His cryptid lore is that Paul Bunyan, everyone knows Paul Bunyan, I think, Babe the Blue Ox. Paul Bunyan captured this humanoid pig thing. He stapled bacon to his feet, and then he made him grease his griddle for his flapjacks every morning. So this guy's like Paul Bunyan's slave, a pig with bacon skis.
What the hell is wrong with you guys?
So if you're interested...
That's a perfect place to end the stream right there, guys. That is the my thoughts exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Dude, hey, for real, thank you guys both for coming on. This was a fantastic stream. Hopefully all you guys enjoyed it. I have Dan's YouTube channel. You can find it there, and then on his channel, he's got all his links for everywhere else you can find him. And then I got Steve's Tactical Trading, his Instagram, if you want to follow him on Instagram. And then obviously his email, Steve T at Gmail, if you guys want to reach out and talk to him. Other than that, guys, thanks so much. We're going to end it there. Appreciate everybody showing up. And until next time.
Thanks,
see you guys.